Hokage give me a face. Chapter 201-220. Chapter 201 _ change. I'm sorry, I just got angry. I forgot to tell you for a while. There is news from the Kingdom of Thunder. The third generation of Hokage is attacking again. The front line is tight. Your father wants you to support immediately. Huh, why didn't you say it earlier? Yizan's eyes widened, and the slug shrank his head in fright. Seeing the innocent face of the slug, Yizan raised his hand and slammed the slug, and immediately stood up. Sorry, Kushina, Makoto, the front line is tight. I must go to support immediately. The art of psychic has been taught to you. If you want me, call the slug clone to chat with me. That's all, called Tilda. Yizan quickly kissed Kushina and Makoto on the lips. A gust of wind sounded. He kicked his feet and flew into the sky in futon wind style mode. Huh. With a light sound, like a ray of light, Yizan flew out of Konoha in an instant and flew towards the front line of the Kingdom of Thunder. A day and a half later, Yizan arrived at the border. When he arrived, the battle between the two legions had ended. Without Yizan's chakra supplies, the slugs couldn't treat Konoha's wounded. More than 200 people were lying in the medical shed, mourning, looking extremely miserable. How's the situation? The atmosphere in the camp was dignified, and the faces of a group of elites were not good, especially Danzo, who was obviously injured with a bandage on his right arm. Slug. Come on, Tilda. The slug separates a clone and rests on Danzo's arm, and it's a comfortable green light after a while. How's the arm? It's nothing, it's just a broken bone, the third generation Hokage guy. Danzo sighed softly. The difference in strength between the two sides was too great. The third generation Hokage forcibly collided. Danzo accidentally broke his arm with a punch from the third generation Hokage. It's a heavy loss this time. Danzo sighed, feeling his arm changed from pain to numbness, his face a little better. I don't know what happened to the third generation of Hokage. Yesterday's offensive was too terrifying. It should be some agreement with Onoki. I guess if it is correct, the land of the land. Onoki should also attack in a big way. I hope the dead monkey will fight faster. If this drags on, both of our fronts need to wait for the wind. It would be too dangerous if the country surrendered. Yizan frowned slightly. He didn't expect some small mistakes in the strategy at the beginning. The most important thing was Sarutobi and Onoki. The strength of the two was 6-4, but with double the number of ninjas, there were too many elite jonin who could support Onoki. To contain the power of Sarutobi. Yizan guessed right, but also guessed wrong. He is not a god and can only guess based on some intelligence. He didn't know that the front of the land of the country was about to be destroyed by Onoki at this moment. Boom. A loud bang, the golden cudgel and Onoki's fist collided hard. With super-weighted boulder jutsu, rock fist technique, one blow knocked Sarutobi back more than 200 meters. Sarutobi relaxes his body and floats in midair to unload his force. It seems that he can't beat Onoki, but in fact he deliberately uses this soft way to deal with Onoki's heavy punches, which consumes the strength to deal with. But at this moment, instant body art. Call out. The terrifying chakra, the terrifying figure, and the terrifying scythe, as if harvested by the god of death, slashed towards Sarutobi's back. Chain scythe double strike. Boom. Rumbling. Like a shooting star, Sarutobi fell from the sky with a face full of pain, smashing the ground out of a basin. Dude, are you alright? At the top of the golden hoop, the ape demon turned his head and asked. His face was solemn and worried for Sarutobi. It's okay, it's fortunate that you took the initiative to help me block it, or I'll be finished with the blow just now. As expected of Hanzo of the Salamander with the title of demigod. Sarutobi stood up from the basin, and Onoki and Hanzo of the Salamander stopped him in tandem. Is this your plan? After 2 months of waiting, is the rain-pulling country joining the war? Sarutobi looked at Onoki coldly and got a smug smile from Onoki. That's it, with the help of experts from Hanzo and the Land of Rain, I don't believe you Konoha can stand it. Hearing Onoki's shout, Sarutobi immediately turned his head to look at Hanzo of the Salamander, who was about to speak when Hanzo suddenly waved his hand, gagging Sarutobi's words in his throat. Sarutobi Hiruzen, you don't need to say anything. Since I agreed to Onoki's participation in the war, I naturally got benefits that I couldn't refuse. This is the end of the matter. Let's fight. Hanzo of the Salamander snorted coldly, and slammed his hands on the ground. For a moment, Sarutobi only felt a danger of death coming from his feet. Kaiden, fire style. Exploding flame formation. Boom boom boom. Sky-shaking explosion, the sky-high flames, and a large number of detonating talismans were moved by Hanzo of the Salamander to Sarutobi's feet with a secret technique. Sarutobi reacted, but he was still unable to resist the terrifying power. The detonator blew up. Teacher. Seeing Sarutobi so embarrassed, Orochimaru immediately repelled the surrounding elite Jonin and rushed over quickly. His breath was extremely cold, and his body exuded powerful chakra fluctuations. Oh, Quennying. Hanzo of the Salamander smiled indifferently. As a super strong in cage level, although Quennying is good, it is not a very powerful character. Seeing Orochimaru rushing towards him, Hanzo of the Salamander took a deep breath, opened the respirator on the mask, and exposed his mouth. Secret art. The art of poisoning the body. Huh. It was just normal breathing, but the air around Hanzo of the Salamander turned purple. Orochimaru's face changed, he held his breath, and the grass pheasant sword in his hand stabbed fiercely at the opponent. Kendo. Boy, what are you? Do you think you can become a samurai with a magic weapon? Swordsmanship. A flash. Clang. A sharp vibration formed a roar in the air and swept the surroundings. Orochimaru bit Kiba with a face full of pain, and was knocked hundreds of meters away by Hanzo of the Salamander's side. Orochimaru. Sarutobi's heart tightened, and he was about to rescue Orochimaru. The next moment, Onoki rushed to his side, his terrifying fist carrying the power of Wanjun. Sarutobi, you better take care of yourself. Whether you can leave alive today is still unknown. Doden, Earth Style. Super Weighted Boulder Jutsu. Chapter 202 The Only Way. Report Danzo-sama. 5 days ago, the Land of Rain joined the alliance of the Land of the Land. Lord Hokage was attacked by Tsuchikage and Hanzo of the Salamander, and was injured and defeated. The front of the Land of Land is now collapsing. What? In the residence of the Thunder Country front, Danzo overturned the table, his eyes widened in disbelief, and the cage-level aura erupted uncontrollably. Suppress your emotions. A childish low drink calmed the emotions of everyone present. Yizan stood up with a dignified face, and his eyes kept shining. Hanzo of the Salamander. That's the case. In the past 2 months, they went to win over the country of rain. I don't know how many benefits they promised before they let Hanzo of the Salamander take action. This group of dogs. Yizan bit Kiba and gnashed his teeth. Everything was fine. As long as he persevered and waited for the surrender of the Land of Wind, Hitaki Sakumo could bring people to support the two and lay fronts and fight the two countries back. Obviously, because of the tragic battle of the Kingdom of Thunder, the third-generation Raikage gave up the attack and forced Onoki to think of other ways. What Onoki thought of was to unite with the Kingdom of Rain, or to be precise, to join the Hanzo of the Salamander to join the war and destroy Konoha in one go. The Land of the Land front. Not only that, because of Sarutobi's defeat, it will inevitably affect the morale of the other two fronts. At least at this moment, even Yizan felt a certain loss in his heart, and his firm belief was shaken. Yizan is like this, and the rest, not to mention. Danzo is better, but the other elites have completely withdrawn in their voices. The demigods join the battle and cooperate with Onoki. Lord Hokage will not be their opponent if they fight a few times. If the front of the Land collapses, what's the point of our insistence? Retreat. Yes, so many people have died, let's retreat, go back to Konoha, and rely on Konoha to fight to the death. You can't win, Konoha this time. Is it really over? The atmosphere of despair is getting stronger and stronger, and despair is written on everyone's face. At this moment, Uzumaki Ryushin suddenly stood up. His eyes kept flickering, his head was slightly lowered, and his tone was full of fear. I can't win. Konoha is finished. Retreat. I want to return to the country of Vortex, and the fight will continue like this. Shut up. A loud roar. Uzumaki Ryushin took a step back in fright. He raised his head in horror and found Yizan's face full of suffocation. From now on, whoever dares to say retreat, whoever will die. Yizan's words shocked everyone. They couldn't imagine that Yizan usually had a smile on his face, but at this moment, he actually exuded an aura that made them terrified. Yizan himself didn't know that his chakra power was restored. The side effects actually produced a special coercion when angry, almost reaching the level of Kyuubi, 9 tails. Coercion is one of them, and the other is that Yizan burst out with all his strength and can really kill them. Based on this, everyone fell silent, and they looked at Danzo as if asking for help. Danzo sighed, his tone a little heavy. Sarutobi's side must go to support, otherwise Konoha will be defeated, and the 3 generations of Raikage's side can't be divided, and the Wind Country side, if Tsukumo leaves, there is no cage-level powerhouse, the Wind Country front will also suffer a disastrous defeat. Shaozan. What can you do? There is a way. Oh, in what way? Yizan's words surprised everyone. When Yizan said, there is a way, it seemed like a shot in the arm, alleviating the fear and retreat in their hearts. The only way now is, I will go to the Land of Water in person and invite Ghost Lantern and Magic Moon to fight. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. Yizan's words were like a 10th level tsunami, setting off a storm in everyone's heart. Shaozan, are you crazy? Please invite Ghost Lantern and Huan Yu to fight. How is that possible? Yes, the Kingdom of Water has always wanted to hit us. If you hadn't collapsed their economy, they would have destroyed us with the other 3 countries. Also, let's talk about the collapse of the Kingdom of Water, although they don't know it's you. It was planned, but so far, the country of water hates Konoha the most. I wish we could be wiped out, and invite him to fight. How is it possible? Quote. Everyone was talking, and even Danzo's eyes were full of doubts. Yizan was deeply involved in the country of water and played the ninjas of the country of water around. Not only that, but he also killed the leader of the 7 people when he left. Ghost Lantern Yaoyu, plus the crash plan. Are you going to ask the Land of Water to help Konoha now? Is it possible? No, Xiaoshuan, let's not talk about other things for the time being. As long as you see Ghost Lantern Wanyu, he will definitely kill you with all his strength. You caused too many negative effects to the country of water, you can't go. Don't worry, Dad, you don't have to worry about this at all. Although Ghost Lantern Wanyu is the 2nd generation Mizukage, his ability is a continuous combat type, and he doesn't have a super one-shot kill ability. And his strength is definitely not comparable. Raikage can't kill me in seconds. Can he kill me in seconds? I have Futon Wind Style mode and Sage mode. Even if he wants to kill me, I just drive Futon Wind Style into the sky. Don't worry. Yizan's analysis made Danzo gradually relieved, but for the matter of asking for a battle. Don't worry, if Ghost Lantern Wanyu still has a little IQ, he should agree to my request to fight. The most important thing now is the frontal battlefield. You must stabilize the situation and suppress the news of Sarutobi's defeat. Don't let everyone know. The slug clone continued to stay a few in the camp to spread the word. Everything is waiting for my news. Tone finally made Danzo nod. He looked at Yizan silently, his tone full of worry. Shaozan, everything is based on your own safety. If it really doesn't work, run away immediately and pay attention to safety. It's up to you to persevere in the frontal battle. Wait for my good news. After Yizan finished speaking, without wasting any more time, he turned around and left the tent. Futon Wind Style mode on. The wind howled. Yizan kicked his feet and jumped into the air with force. He looked at the map and confirmed the general direction of Kurigakure village. After a flash, he turned into a blue light and disappeared. In the camp, Danzo and a group of elites watched Yizan leave. After a long time, Danzo took a deep breath and hid his worries about Yizan in his heart. Xiaozan, come on. Chapter 203 Meet the Ghost Lantern Moon. A height of 100 meters in the land of water, Yizan flew in futon wind-style mode. Stinky boy, plant it. The roar of the rough mine has not stopped since a few hours ago. Yi Xuandu glanced at the Jonin on the ground, and spat out a mouthful of phlegm. Bastard, you actually spit. There's a way to fight head to head. Why, you kind of fly up, come on, idiot. Yizan's face was full of disdain, and the ninja was so angry that he could not do anything about Yizan. Yizan didn't fly very high, but he wouldn't let the Kurigakure ninja attack him. He did this on purpose, just to let these ninjas go back quickly and inform Ghost Lantern, I'm here. Of course, Ghost Lantern Wanyu knows Yizan. In other words, in the ninja world, there are very few people who don't know Yizan, mainly because of his futon wind-style mode, which is unique in the ninja world. Most people know that in the sky the one who can fly and is wrapped in cyan light is Shimura Danzo's son, Shimura-zan. Yizan flew for a long time and passed many islands. After flying for about half a day at the border of the land of water, he finally saw the village of Kurigakure. At the gate of Kurigakure village, the second-generation Mizukage Ghost Lantern Wanyu and the densely packed elite Jonin gathered together. Everyone looked at Yizan unfriendly. Enough to upset everyone. Not to mention Yizan's momentum in the country of water, you must know that Ghost Lantern Yaoyu, the leader of the 7 people, but the most talented young man in his clan, was killed by Yizan and Tsunade together. The Ghost Lantern and the moon shattered countless water glasses. Shimura Gen. Ghost Lantern Moon. Presumptuous. Mizukage-sama's name is something you can call too. The ninja beside Ghost Lantern Wanyu roared. Yizan just glanced at the other party with disdain, and slowly landed from the air. Ghost Lantern Moon, your hospitality doesn't seem very good. Hospitality, hee. Shimura-zan, you killed Jonin, the elite of my village, are you a guest? Ghost Lantern Wanyu sneered. Cage level, aura became stronger and stronger, and his terrifying aura pressed against Yizan, which could not arouse the slightest effect. Yizan was only wearing futon wind-style armor, and his expression was extremely relaxed. Since I dare to come, I naturally have the confidence to come. For the time being, whether you can keep me or not, you don't want to know why I came to the land of water. Yizan's words made Gaidong Wanyu stunned for a moment, and the momentum on his body suddenly eased. After the economic collapse, Ghost Lantern Huanyu completely gave up the idea of participating in the Ninja World War. He didn't know much about the situation on the battlefield. Anyway, the outcome of the ninja world was none of his business, and the economic reconstruction had already made him devastated. Why did you come to the land of water? To save your water country's completely collapsed economy. What? Ghost Lantern Wanyu's eyes widened in surprise. Not only him, but all the hundreds of ninjas around him were shocked. Everyone looked stupidly at the 10-year-old child in front of them, and then burst out with shocking laughter. Ha 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 ha, what did that kid say? He said, he wants to save our economy. It's ridiculous. We have spent so much effort, and we can't save it with countless efforts. This kid actually said he can save it. A mere 10-year-old kid, do you know what economics is? Do you know what business is? Save, I'm dying of laughter. Little devil, do you know what a crash plan is? Go back and ask you Lord Hokage, or let the planner of the crash plan do the talking, it's up to you. Ha 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 ha. The Kurigakure ninja burst into laughter, looking at Yizan full of ridicule. They may admit that Yizan's talent is high and his strength is strong, but playing economics. Hee, Shimura-zan, today you dare to come to the country of water alone. I admire your courage. I, Ghost Lantern Huanyu, is not a wicked villain. I won't attack you at this time. Please come back. Just as they said, if you want to save the economy of our country of water, you are not qualified unless. You can call the planner of the collapse of the country of water. Maybe only he has the ability to save our country. Ghost Lantern Wanyu shook his head helplessly, turned around and walked towards the village, but the next moment. Mizukage, in fact, I am the mastermind behind the collapse of the water country. Mizukage building, waiting for the living room. Ghost Lantern Wanyu and Yizan sat opposite each other, surrounded by a large number of ninjas, and everyone's eyes were full of curiosity. Shimura-san, what you said just now, is it true? Ghost Lantern Wanyu's eyes flickered uncertainly. Of course it's true. Now, you want to kill me. Yizan smiled and didn't touch the tea and cakes on the table. Although he had futon wind-style armor, he had to be generous. If the other party poisoned the food, he would be finished. Yizan's indifferent smile made Gaidong Wanyu a little uncertain for a while. He hesitated for a while, thinking of Yizan's performance on the battlefield, and finally patted the table and dispersed the surrounding ninjas. Don't want to kill me. If you really have a way to save our country's economy and write off the previous grudges, I don't have to kill you. Fart. With a loud shout, Yizan stood up abruptly, and the violent futon wind style burst out, completely wrapping him inside. Ghost Lantern Moon, I hate wasting time the most. What is written off, what does not kill me? Can you kill me? The sudden burst of chakra caused the outside ninjas to rush in with a boom. After discovering that Yizan was in futon wind-style mode, everyone raised 1.9 weapons, just waiting for Mizukage's order, and immediately swarmed to kill. Get out. What? I told you all to get out. No one is allowed in without my order. Ghost Lantern Wanyu roared at the group of ninjas with a livid face, so scared that all the ninjas shrank their necks, and left the living room with innocent faces. It wasn't until everyone left that Ghost Lantern Wanyu's face softened. He smiled at Yizan a little embarrassedly, knowing in his heart that it seemed that he couldn't scare the other party. Shimura Danzo killed the second-generation Tsuchikage in a few minutes in the land of the land. As expected of Danzo's son, Shimura-san, you are very good. Ghost Lantern Wanyu looked like an elder, but Yizan pouted with disdain on his face. Chapter 204 Make a Deal. Don't talk nonsense. What is Shimura Danzo's son? I am me, and don't deliberately look at me with the eyes of an elder. You really treat me as a 10-year-old child. The negotiation was about momentum. Yizan made an arrogant and indifferent attitude, that is, he pinpointed Ghost Lantern Wanyu and wanted to save the economy of the country of water eagerly, but Ghost Lantern Wanyu didn't know Yizan's purpose so far. It also made him lose the opportunity, and the negotiation was lost to Yizan at the beginning. Okay, Shimura-san, since that's for the sake of it, let's put the matter on the table and talk about it. You say you can save the economy of the land of water, let's talk about the conditions. No, you may have heard it wrong. I didn't say I wanted to save the water nation's economy. Boy, you're kidding me. Boom. The cage-level momentum erupted, and the entire Mizukage building felt the anger in the breath. The ninjas outside the door wanted to come in, but they were afraid of being scolded again by Ghost Lantern. After thinking about it, they finally shrank their necks and chose regardless of room. Yizan dissipated the futon wind-style mode. Facing the imposing pressure of the ghost lamp and the moon, he just buttoned the booger in a boring way, glued the booger into a ball, and shot 05 at it. Call out. Ghost Lantern Wanyu flashed lightly, dodging the booger ball. He looked at Yizan with black lines all over his head, and for a long time, slowly put away his momentum. The information from the outside world is really accurate. Shimura-san, he likes boogers and farts the most. I heard that Onoki's face was hit by your boogers. Well, why don't you try it too? Yizan dug out a ball of booger again, flicked it lightly, and bounced directly into the water glass in front of Ghost Lantern Wanyu. Well, you won, boy, tell me, what do you want? Gaidong Wanyu knew that everything she had done was invalid to Yizan, and when he saw Yizan's rascal-like appearance, he knew, the other party has made it clear that he is not afraid, and if he can really save the economy of the country of water, as long as the other party's requirements are not too excessive, he will indeed accept it. I can save your water country's economy, but before your water country attacked Konoha, I won't be stupid enough to completely restore your economy, otherwise, you will immediately join forces with the other 3 countries to fight Konoha. Am I not a fool? Yizan's remarks made Gaidong Wanyu nodded affirmatively. Both of them are smart people. If the Kingdom of Water really fully recovers, he will definitely attack Konoha again. There is no need to lie about this kind of thing. Also lied and swore to say never to hit Konoha. That's the real idiot. Boy, what do you think? I will restore the water country's economy to 20 years ago. 20 years ago. Yes, it probably means that it would take you 50 or even 60 years to restore the economy, but I shortened the time for you a lot, and I will activate your initial economy so that your civilians will not be as bad as they are now. Miserable. 20 years of development is not a long time. It is better than allowing the country to repair itself. The speed of self-repair is too slow. It takes several generations and at least 50 years to repair it well. 20 years is neither long nor short. Let's talk about your purpose first. Ghost Lantern Wanyu did not refuse, but did not accept it. He wanted to know Yizan's purpose, so that he could compete for negotiation advantages according to the other party's purpose. I want you to send troops. Send troops. Yes, I hope you will take 3,000 ninjas to attack Kumogakure village, start from Baikwan Island, cross the sea directly north, and attack Kumogakure village. What? Ghost Lantern Wanyu screamed. The whole person stood up from the chair, his eyes widened, his eyes were full of disbelief. You want me to take 3,000 people to attack Kumogakure village? What do you mean? That's what I said. Now the Kumogakure main force is fighting against my Konoha. There are no strong men in the Kumogakure village. Although the other side also has about 3,000 people stationed there, it is not difficult for you to lead the team to attack the Kumogakure village. Yizan said it lightly, but made Ghost Lantern and Huanyu frown tightly. Boy, you Konoha can't take it anymore, right? Yes. Yizan nodded. There was no lie. He only needed to send someone to inquire about this kind of thing, but Yizan didn't want Ghost Lantern Wanyu to inquire. It would take at least a week. He couldn't wait so long. Better to be honest. Kid, do you know? Our country of water, our village of Kumogakure, including me, hates Konoha the most. If I didn't know before, then now, the person I hate the most and want to kill the most is me in front of this person, Shimura-zan, who has collapsed our country's economy. Do you know that my biggest wish right now is to kill you, but you actually want me to help you raid Kumogakure village? Is there something wrong with your head? Ghost Lantern Wanyu's face was full of murderous intent, but Yizan smiled disdainfully, looking at Ghost Lantern Wanyu with extreme pity. What do you mean? It doesn't make any sense. I just want to know, even if you kill me, even if you let Konoha be destroyed, what good will you do? Your water country can't recover its economy for more than 50 years, but you think the 3rd generation of Reikage will wait for you like this? 067 How long? Yizan laughed, but Guilan Huanyu was shocked. Compared to Sarutobi, who has a peaceful personality, the 3rd generation Reikage has always been a thorn in his heart. At least Sarutobi will not take the initiative to expand the country when he is in charge of Hokage, but the 3rd generation Reikage. If you agree, you will win. If you don't agree, our 2 villages will die together. It's just the difference between dying sooner and later. Lord Mizukage, what's your answer? Yizan stared at the Ghost Lantern and the moon, forcing the other party to make up his mind. Although Ghost Lantern Wanyu really wanted to kill Yizan, he knew in his heart that in this case, only through cooperation could the Kingdom of Water escape the attack of the Kingdom of Thunder. Suppose the 3 generations of Reikage destroy Konoha, occupy 1/3 of Konoha's excellent land resources to recuperate, and wait for about 5 years to attack the Land of Water. At that time, the economy of the Land of Water will recover slowly, and there is no money to buy equipment and fight wars. Once the 3 generations of Reikage attack, the country of water only perished. Thinking of this, Ghost Lantern Wanyu finally suppressed her anger towards Yizan, took a deep breath, and her face was extremely serious. Cooperation is fine, but I don't want to wait 20 years for the economy to recover. 10 years, I only wait for 10 years for the economy to recover. Deal. Chapter 205-Assault on the Land of Thunder. Yizan activated the economic construction of the entire country in the Land of Water, while Ghost Lantern Wanyu set off towards the Land of Thunder with 5,000 ninjas. Originally, Ghost Lantern Wanyu only planned to bring 3,000 people, but before he set off, Yizan picked his nostrils indifferently, and said words that Ghost Lantern Wanyu could not refuse. You go to attack Kumogakure village. You are destined to fight against 3 generations of Raikage. You have done everything, why not do it to the end? Bring more people, and destroy Kumogakure village in one go before Raikage returns to help. Yizan's words made Gaidong Wanyu heartbroken. Although he knew that Yizan used himself as a spearman, he knew more about the character of the 3rd generation Raikage. As long as he attacked Kumogakure village by himself, no matter how much damage he caused, the feud between himself and Raikage would not be able to dissipate. Don't do it again and again. Another 2,000 people, let's go and destroy the Kumogakure village. Soon, the team of 3,000 people turned into 5,000 people. They headed north to the northernmost island of the Land of Water, took 10 sea boats, quickly crossed the sea, and headed for the port of the Land of Thunder. Kumogakure village has always been strong, and the 3rd generation Raikage is the most powerful Raikage in history. Ghost Lantern Moon has made up his mind to try to destroy the entire village and the foundation of Kumogakure village in this attack. Mission accomplished. Yizan's face was calm, but there was a smile on the corner of his mouth. He had read the original book in his previous life, and knew that Ghost Lantern and Huan Yu's personality was still relatively good. At least he wouldn't lose the big because of the small. Give a sweet date another hit. First promise to help you recover the economy, and explain the consequences of cooperation and non-cooperation. Yizan made all plans on the road, and as expected, Ghost Lantern Wanyu agreed to cooperate. Yizan will not lose his trust. He promised to restore the economy of the country of water, and it will be restored naturally. Anyway, it is not completely restored. He is only responsible for restoring the most basic economic construction and making the stagnant economy flow. Even so, at least it is necessary to after more than 10 years of circulation, the commerce of the Land of Water will prosper again and return to the level before the collapse. Yizan did this mainly because of the Kingdom of Thunder. He did not think that the Ghost Lantern Moon could wipe out Kumogakure village and restore the economic capacity of the Kingdom of Water. He hoped that the Kingdom of Water would not be destroyed by thunder in the next 10 years. He hoped that the 2 countries will always maintain a hostile attitude of mutual containment. The most important point of the whole plan is the return of the 3 generations of Raikage. With the character of the 3 generations of Raikage, as long as he collides with Ghost Lantern and Huan Yu's team, he will surely die endlessly. At that time, both sides will be injured, and the front line of the Kingdom of Thunder will be easy. The mission is complete. Xiaoshuan is helping the country of water to restore part of the economy. He hopes that you can support the attack on the frontal battlefield. If the 3rd generation Raikage retreats, immediately counterattack and delay their retreat. Konoha camp on the Thunder Country front. The slug waved its tentacles, and the French fries on the table made a crashing sound. From time to time, she lowered her head to eat a piece of French fries, squinting her eyes slightly, her face full of happiness. It really worked. Hearing the slug's words, smiles appeared on everyone's face. In the past 2 days, they were attacked by Kumogakure again. Especially after the information of the front of the land came, the offensive of Kumogakure village became more and more intense. It was to spread the news of Sarutobi's defeat and blow Konoha's confidence. Very good. Since Xiaoshuan's plan is successful, starting from today, once the opponent attacks again, give up the camp, and retreat after the battle. When they find that they are retreating, all listen to my orders to attack and prevent them from returning to Kumogakure village. As ordered. Third generation of Rakage was completely unaware that his nest was about to be attacked. At this moment, he was holding a meeting in the camp with a face full of Yuhi light. Everyone, good news. The news of Sarutobi's defeat and Hanzo of the Salamander's participation in the war has spread throughout the ninja world. Konoha's fighting spirit is constantly being worn away. As long as you focus on the fire and attack again, the Konoha Legion will collapse. Lord Rakage is right. For Konoha, it's pointless for them to continue to stand on the defensive line. Even if they try to stop us, Onoki and Hanzo of the Salamander will follow the country of fire to enter Konoha and destroy Konoha completely. Presumably, they should retreat to the Konoha defense and fight the beasts. Quote. Humph. Resign from Konoha to fight the beasts. But if all the forces of our three countries are concentrated outside the village of Konoha, no matter how much they struggle, they will lose. This war, we won. The camp was elated, and everyone's eyes were shining. They had been waiting for this moment for a long time. When they thought of the rich natural resources and land of the Fire Nation, they felt that the war was worth it, no matter how many people died. Worth. Unfortunately, in order to let Hanzo of the Salamander play, we have divided a lot of interests. He has a big appetite, and a small country dares to share the interests with our three countries. Yaoi was a little unhappy, but the third generation of Rakage didn't feel anything. He glanced at Yaoi and said seriously, You are too young now, there are too many things to learn. Hanzo of the Salamander dare to do this many resources. Do you think me, Onoki and Kazekage are all idiots? When Konoha is destroyed, small countries or something, it will be destroyed together. Quote. So it is. Third generation of Rakage made Yaoi suddenly realize. In fact, he was the only one who didn't understand. All the people here were old people, and only he was a teenager, and his mind was not as dark as the future. Everyone chatted happily, as if the extinction of the Konoha sub-site was already a sure thing. At this moment, at the border port of the Land of Thunder, many civilians and border guard ninjas found 10 ships more than 10 meters high on the foggy sea. Tens of meters long super sea ships. What's that? It seems to be the official ship of the Land of Water. Why are so many here? Commoners were talking a lot, but a few ninjas from Kumogakure village felt a little bad in their hearts. They looked at each other, and one of them nodded immediately and ran towards the inland. Call out. Sound. Accompanied by a scream, the Kumogakure Chunin who had left the shore fell to the ground with a kunai stuck in the back of his head. According to the trajectory of his movement, he flew out of the ship. This is an enemy attack. Chapter 206 board in the village of Kurigakure. The port on the border of the Land of Thunder, several Kumogakure ninjas were lying on the ground and had long since lost their breath. Ghost Lantern Wanyu took 5,000 ninjas to the Land of Thunder. Countless civilians around screamed and fled, and some of them had been frightened by the 5,000 ninjas. Their legs were weak, and they were paralyzed on the ground and constantly urinating. Lord Mizukage, these commoners. No need, it's just a group of civilians. Even if there is someone to pass on the news, we are still fast. Let's go, there are not many ninjas in the Land of Thunder, so we can kill them all at Kumogakure village in one go. There are really not many ninjas in the Land of Thunder. In addition to the 3,000 ninjas stationed in Kumogakure village, the rest of the towns only had 2 or 3 cats and dogs, and Ghost Lantern Wanyu didn't make a move at all. These scum were instantly killed by the swarming men. The Land of Water goes to the Land of Thunder as another route in the map section. There is no one to stop along the way, and no one can pass the message to the village and the front line. From the border of the Land of Thunder to Kumogakure village, Ghost Lantern Genyu's rapid march took only 1 day. When his 5,000 ninjas appeared at the end of the gate of Kumogakure village, 217 elite gatekeepers Chunin had just discovered. What is that? One of them pointed to the countless black shadows at the end of the avenue with some doubts in his heart. Idiot. Of course it's Lord Rakage. Our team is finally back. Another ninja shouted happily, waving at thousands of dark shadows in the distance. The behavior of the two ninjas caught the attention of several ninjas at the entrance of the village. When they saw the dark shadow at the far end, they walked to the gate of the village entrance and waved their hands happily in the distance. One by one, and soon, about 100 ninjas gathered at the gate of Kumogakure village, all of them excitedly watching the distant legion, until... Hey, why isn't Mr. Rakage at the front? Yes, Lord Yaoi isn't here either, is it hurt? No, their clothes are not the ninja clothes of our village at all, they are... Enemy. No way, Konoha now, where are thousands of people attacking us? Few ninjas blinked their eyes dumbly, and they were a little confused for a while, but Ghost Lantern, the strongest and farthest sighted, looked at the ninjas at the gate of Kumogakure in the distance with a black line on his face, and his heart was full. Sigh. If all those idiots were left behind in Kumogakure, today, Kumogakure could disappear from this land. Thinking of the 3 generations of Rakage, Ghost Lantern's heart became solemn again. What he said today would bring down Kumogakure village. Even if he helped Konoha, he couldn't make the Kingdom of Thunder stand up. Seeing that it was getting closer and closer to the gate of Kumogakure, Ghost Lantern Wanyu waved his hand suddenly, his eyes filled with terrifying killing intent. Kill. Shish. Countless shadows swept past the gate and rushed directly into the Kumogakure village. The 100 ninjas at the gate barely resisted and were destroyed by the 5,000 torrents. Enemy attack. Ghost Lantern Wanyu began to attack Kumogakure village, and in Kurigakure village, the land of water, Yizan lay lazily on Mizukage's desk. Several elite jonin around glared at Yizan, but Yizan did not respond. Without relying on external forces, it is difficult to recover a country's economy. Yizan has already asked the slug to spread the word, and the slug clone who stayed in Konoha told the 2 consultants what happened. At this moment, Konoha is actively purchasing supplies and preparing to use 10 billion to activate the economy of the water country. If 20 billion is placed in the country of water, the total tax revenue for 20 years before the collapse of the country of water seems to be a lot, but Yizan has emptied the country of water. The original more than 200 billion was spent on funds 10 times. Only 1/10 of the money can be used to activate the economy. Yizan was too lazy to do it himself. He has written the general steps on paper. As long as the materials are in place, anyone can activate it. 20 billion, please use Mizukage and 5,000 ninjas. In general, Yizan still made a profit. Once the supplies arrive and teach a few ninjas from the land of water to learn the basic steps, he can leave. But now, isn't it too boring? Yizan yawned lazily, and kept pointing at Slug's head with his fingers, while on the desk, Slug's eyes widened angrily, dodging from time to time. Smelly Xiaoshuan, don't order me. She waved her tentacles in protest. The next moment she was pointed by Yizan's finger again. She quickly backed up a few times, looked left and right, and slipped into the bookshelf next to her. The slug ran away, but Yizan didn't chase after him. He raised his head slightly, resting his chin with one hand, and only then did he raise his eyelids to look at a few ninjas not far away. Shimura-zan, don't be too arrogant. This is Lord Mizukage's seat, please leave. Perhaps seeing Yizan looking at himself, one of the Jonin immediately stood up and spoke righteously, as if this would drive Yizan away. I know this is Mizukage's seat, didn't he say before he left, that while he's gone, I'm in charge of all the rights in Kurigakure village, isn't it? That's not it. The ninja was full of anger, and his right fist and 5 fingers were tightly pulled up. Shimura-zan, don't be wild here, this is Mizukage's office, please leave. I don't. Why, do you want to hit me? Hit me, I'm afraid of you. If you hit me, I won't restore the economy. Who is afraid of who? Yizan raised his head, and the appearance of being flat made the name Jonin angry. He rolled up his sleeves, and walked up to Yizan with a, shoo, stinky boy, don't let go, believe it or not, I'll beat you. Come, hit here, don't hit it crookedly tilde. Yizan pointed to his face and raised his eyebrows arrogantly. Boy looking for death. Being provoked by Yizan, the name Jonan finally broke out. He raised his fist fiercely and was about to hit Yizan. The next second, several ninjas around him held him at the same time, making his fist completely unable to fall. "What are you doing? This stinky boy is so mean, let me beat him up." "It's okay, Ryuiki, Shimura-san is a guest of Mizukage-sama. You hit him, we can't be held responsible." The person who spoke was a young man with blue hair, about 17 years old, but he reached Jonan with a full body. Although he was a man, he had earrings on his ears, but the earrings were very strange, as if they were two spells. The overall shape made Yizan very familiar. Chapter 207-Young Green. Blue hair, spell earrings, serious expression like never smiling, oh. Not many people appeared in the original Country of Water. Yizan thought for a while, and suddenly remembered who this person was. "Ching, just let him beat me, I just want to see the strength of your Country of Water, Jonan. I saw him as an idiot before, so I took the initiative to provoke him." Yizan said lightly, as if he and Ching were old acquaintances. The sudden words made everyone present stunned, and turned to look at Ching at the same time. Everyone's eyes were full of doubts. "Ow, do you know Shimura-san? You know each other before. Are you a spy?" The third person's words were like a bomb, instantly detonating the atmosphere of the office, and several Jonans immediately moved a few steps to the side, surrounding Ching. Tuan. The sudden appearance made Ching's face bewildered. When his companions surrounded him with murderous expressions, he realized that his serious face had completely changed. "No, how did you do it? Shimura-san, how do you know my name? Everyone, don't get me wrong. What does it mean?" Ching was about to cry. You must know that any village would kill a spy, and at this moment, he was almost determined to be a spy by his companions. The most important thing is that Ching has been feeling inexplicable so far. He has no idea why Yizan knows him, let alone how to explain it to his companions. A person with a serious nature was made to cry, which was a very interesting thing for Yizan. He didn't speak, but looked at several people with interest. "Ching, we have worked together for so many years, we all know who you are, but today's situation. Give us an explanation. Any explanation is fine, we only need an explanation." Explain, I don't know." The 17-year-old Qingyuan is not as calm as the future, especially being framed as a spy, which is a serious crime to kill. Several people held each other. Yizan grabbed the slug hiding in the bookshelf. The slug wanted to escape. Yizan directly held the slug's tail, and the other hand clicked on the slug's head disgustingly. "Xiaozan, you are so annoying." The slug struggled constantly in Yizan's hands, and when she finally found that she couldn't break free, Yizan's fingers tapped her head more than a dozen times. "Uyu 0000 ___. Cut, then you become a fool and show me tilde. Ooh, I'm already stupid, I'm a fool, Xiaoshuan, don't bully a fool tilde." Seeing the slug performing so hard, Yizan slapped his mouth and loosened his fingers, only to hear a whoosh sound, and the slug got into the bookshelf again, leaving only two tentacles outside, his small eyes staring pitifully Yizan. "Don't bully you, come here tilde." "Really? Of course it is." Yizan nodded firmly and finally deceived the slug. He raised his hand and grabbed the slug directly in his hand. With a click, he placed it on the table. Yizan's head was bit by bit again. The slug looked extremely pitiful. She faked crying for a while, and when she found that Yizan had completely stopped, she lowered her head in despair. "Ooey, __." Yizan and the slug's ruthless attitude finally attracted the attention of a few people on the side. Suddenly, their blue eyes lit up, and they thought of a way to explain. "Brothers, if I'm really a spy of Konoha, how could Shimura-san call out my name? Suppose I'm really a spy, and if he calls my name, doesn't he deliberately reveal my identity? You have to believe me." Ching's analysis was clear-headed. Everyone thought silently for a while, and found that it seemed to be the case, so they nodded and said nothing. Yizan was waiting for the money and supplies from Konoha in Kurigakure village. On the other side, Kumogakure village took out the most precious messenger ninja beast, and instantly flew 4 kilometers high, towards the border of the land of fire, where the 3rd generation of Reikage was. Lord Reikage, we must come back quickly. We 3,000 people can't last for long. We must come back. Otherwise, our village will be finished. After praying with his eyes closed, the ninja left the communication room and frantically joined the Kumogakure defense battle. Because of the power of Ghost Lantern, 3,000 Kumogakure ninjas were continuously killed, and the battle became more and more tragic. As the most precious communication ninja beast in Kumogakure village, the communication bird came to the border of the country of fire in just half a day, and found the 3rd generation Reikage who was chasing Konoha in an all-round way. In order to save strength, the Konoha corps fought and retreated, reducing the damage of the ninjas in this way, and when the 3rd generation Reikage with a face full of Yuhi light noticed the communication ninja beasts in the air, his eyes narrowed, and his heart suddenly felt a little bad. Clap Lala. The communication bird flapped its wings to Reikage's shoulder, and threw the scroll on Reikage's paw to Reikage. Reikage opened it, his pupils shrank sharply, and a violent murderous aura exploded. Quack, quack, quack. The communication bird was so frightened that it immediately flew up, but when it was overwhelmed by killing intent, it was instantly stunned. Stop the army. With a loud roar, the hundreds of Jonin around were alarmed. Soon, the ninjas followed Reikage's order and stopped slowly. Lord Reikage, what's wrong? Several elite Jonin asked in confusion. They found that Reikage's face was extremely ugly, and that kind of crazy murderous aura seemed like a volcano that had been brewing for countless years, and it seemed that it would erupt in the next second. Ghost Lantern Moon attacked our village with 5,000 ninjas. At present, the left-behind ninjas in our village are ignoring the casualties. I hope we will return to help soon. What? 3rd generation of Reikage instantly shocked everyone. Yiya even widened her eyes full of disbelief. Impossible. Why does Ghost Lantern Wanyu dare to do this? The economy of their country of water has collapsed. Why does he dare to provoke our village? He doesn't know that doing this will cause our 2 countries to break out endlessly. Of course it's impossible. Of course it's impossible if it's the ghost light and the moon, but what if the ghost moon and Konoha join forces? You mean retreat. Now every minute of the night, the greater the crisis the village suffers. Now, the whole army retreats and returns to help. Chapter 208-Potatoes. Fries. The Kumogakure village army retreated, but they did not find that in the distance, the Konoha army gradually stopped running away. When Danzo noticed that the 3 generations of Reikage were inexplicably starting to retreat, his eyes flashed and he immediately gathered the ninjas together. Ghost Lantern Moon succeeded, Mitarashi Zishao asked suspiciously. It should have succeeded. You don't look at how happy the 3 generations of Reikage were just now. If you say retreat, then retreat. The village must have been attacked. Jiraiya's tone was full of excitement. According to the information from the slug clone, it was about this time, and I saw a communication bird flying from the sky to Reikage's shoulder. It was obviously a distress letter from Kumogakure village. What shall we do now? Needless to say, attack. Danzo snorted, his face showing unprecedented excitement, and was chased and beaten by the 3 generations of Reikage for a long time. At this moment, the time to fight back has finally come. The Konoha ninjas attacked Kumogakure overwhelmingly, and the face of the 3 generations of Reikage changed, and his eyes became colder. Sir Reikage. Hit. 3rd generation of Reikage turned again and took the ninja army to kill Konoha. The 2 sides only fought for a few minutes. Danzo immediately waved his hand and retreated, again turning into a situation where Kumogakure was chasing Konoha. Stop. Speed back up. Seeing that Konoha was defeated again, the 3 generations of Reikage immediately turned around and prepared to set off, and then just a few minutes later, Konoha rushed over again. Shimura Danzo. Seeing Konoha attacking again, the 3rd generation of Reikage was furious, and his eyes were bloodshot. Facing the three-generation Reikage who was almost out of control, Danzo just sneered twice and pointed to the north, which was the direction of Kumogakure village. Danzo's action immediately calmed down the third generation of Reikage. He bit Kiba and stared at Danzo, then turned around and ran towards Kumogakure village with the rest of the ninjas. After 1,000 people are killed, block Konoha for 2 hours. Even if the last person is left in the fight, block me. As ordered. Kill. The two corps collided again, and the 1,000 Kumogakure ninjas were separated, and the three generations of Reikage finally left with a large force. Danzo didn't chase either. His goal had been achieved. As long as half of the 1,000 ninjas were wiped out, it would be comparable to the number of people lost in the first war. 2 hours later, the ninja in the back of Kumogakure left hundreds of corpses and fled. Looking at the remaining ninjas who were running away, Danzo stabilized and stopped his attack. Of Reikage in 2 hours, and the most important thing now is not the front of the Kingdom of Thunder. Go to the front of the land and support Hokage-sama at full speed. The whole plan is one after another, from the initial battle to Ghost Lantern, to forcing the three-generation Reikage to retreat, and now, Danzo leads the ninja to support Sarutobi, which seems to be flowing smoothly. Yizan relied on slugs to complete all plans, so. Little slug, I'm sorry, it was all my fault before, I apologize . Yizan kept his head down and apologized, but the slug just snorted from surrender and turned his head to the other side. Ooh, ignored me. Humph. Smelly Xiaoshuan, I'll ignore you. The slug flicked her tentacles angrily, but when a spicy French fries appeared in front of her, her eyes lit up, and her saliva gushed out. Potato. French fries. She slapped her mouth excitedly, but she couldn't stop her saliva. Seeing that the fries were about to rise, she swooped on them and bit the fries. Yizan lifted the fries together with the slug in this way. His head was covered with black lines, and finally he put the slug in the palm of his hand. Her cheek, a piece of French fries slips into the slug's mouths after a while. She comfortably closes her eyes, and slowly opens them after a long aftertaste. Anything else? Yes, but what? But you have to forgive me and pass on the words of Tsunade, Makoto, Kushina to me. Deal. Come on, fries. The slug jumped on Yizan's palm. Yizan was helpless, took out a storage scroll from his arms, patted it with one hand, only to hear a bang, and a dozen packets of French fries emerged from the storage scroll. Wow, Xiaoshuan, why did you bring so much? I know you like it, take it with you . Wow, Xiaozan, you are so kind. The slug happily rolled around in Yizan's palm, completely forgetting that Yizan used her finger to point her head before. As Yizan put her on the table and tore one of the packages, the slug's whoosh sounded in a bag of fries. Click, click, click. With a crisp sound, after a while, 2 tentacles emerged from the bag. Tsunade said that the land of water is full of ninjas. Even if your futon wind style mode is very strong, you can't stop thousands of ninjas from attacking at the same time, so you should pay attention to safety and run away immediately when you encounter danger. Tell her for me, I miss her . Cut. The slug gave Yizan a white look, and ate the fries again. Kushina said, you are going too far, stinky hooligan, did you take my little black panties pants? Hey, Kushina, this idiot, did it take so long to find out? Yes, I took it, hee hee. Yizan cracked his mouth proudly, looking very happy. I have already told Kushina what you said. She has already clenched her fists and said that when you go back on March 7th, you must be beaten up. Oh yes, Makoto said that although the cultivation is very hard, it is very fulfilling, and you get tired every day. I just want to sleep at home, and when you're not there, I won't miss you so much that I can't sleep. Wow, my Makoto is so bold. Hearing Makoto's confession, Yizan jumped up and down with pride, but he didn't know that when the slug conveyed Makoto's words, a wicked smile flashed in his eyes. 7 o'clock in the evening, Kushina has come home from school because of the privilege, and Makoto and his friends are still studying at night. There was a thumb-sized slug on Makoto's desk, and they were whispering, and not even Inuzuka's pa, who was listening intently to the lecture, didn't notice. Chapter 209 Idiot. Cultivation is very hard, but it is very fulfilling. I want to sleep every day when I get home, but I don't blame Big Brother Zon. I want to catch up with Big Brother Zon tilde. This was Makoto's original words, but Slug changed the latter paragraph. She watched Yizan jumping with excitement, until Yizan regained his emotions, and then she opened her mouth to tell the truth. Oh, I'm sorry, Xiaoshuan, I made a mistake just now. Makoto didn't say that she missed you, she just said that she didn't blame you, she wanted to practice hard to catch up with you tilde ha 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 ha. I'm sorry tilde. Little slug, you lied to me. Hey, you cheated me out of the bookshelf before, everyone, please don't hate me tilde. Humph. Yizan puffed out his face in dissatisfaction and sullen, and at this moment, there was a sudden knock on the door. Dong dong dong. Who is it? Yizan opened the door suspiciously and found that it was an elite Jonin he had seen before. Shimura-gen, your Konoha supplies have arrived. Oh, how fast are you going? Since that's the case, let's go and receive supplies. Your country's economy will start to recover from this time. After Yizan finished speaking, he put the slug on his shoulder, followed the elite Jonin out of the room, and walked towards the entrance of the village of Kurigakure. When he reached the gate of the village, he found that there were hundreds of ninjas and thousands of civilians carrying goods. More than 300 large ships, all filled with cargo. Hey, all right, don't move, are you idiots? Did I say I was moving down? Seeing these people moving the goods, Yizan was speechless. What was he doing unloading the goods at the gate of Kurigakure village? It's useful. After Yizan stopped him, a ninja with a Konoha forehead jumped off a boat. He bowed to Yizan with a very respectful tone. Master Zan, all the goods you want are all here. More than 300 ships, do you need to check? No, it's none of your business here, take the Konoha people back. Konoha's people as if chasing flies. Then, he turned to look at the dozen or so Kurigakure Jonin beside him, raised his chin, and walked straight towards the Mizukage building. You dozen of you, come with me. In Mizukage's office, Yizan sat on Mizukage's seat with a big dagger. Slug on. Click, click, click. The slug was eating the French fries beautifully, and the slug's crisp voice also carried the aftertaste of the slug's. From time to time, a dozen Jonin's heads were covered with black lines, and they wanted to flatten this little bug. Okay, it's Chan Purple. The white paper was full of words. Yizan picked up the paper and shook it in the air, and said something that excited everyone. I have already taken the steps to save the economy of the country of water. I wrote it down in detail. Whoa. Click, click, click. The slug devoured the paper in a few bites, but she still closed her eyes, not realizing that she was not eating fries, nor did she notice the terrifying eyes of everyone, including Yizan. Little slug. What's the matter? Slug opened his eyes. His body was cold, as if he had come to hell, surrounded by a group of Yuhi-eyed demons. Xiaozan, what's wrong with you guys? Slug cautiously shrank his tentacles. His eyes were full of innocence. Yizan's face darkened, and he threw the slug on the table. Bastard, you just ate the economic recovery steps I wrote so hard. You spit it out. Spit it out. Yizan squeezed the slug's body and kept squeezing, until the slug kept laughing, saying that it was ticklish. Seeing the slug's heartless appearance, Yizan's cheeks bulged, and suddenly he picked up the ink on the table, with a crashing sound. On the slug. What is this? How did I turn black? The slug blinked his eyes in confusion, but he didn't react at all. Seeing this, Yizan was completely speechless. He grabbed the slug and threw it out of the window, finally avenging his revenge for eating his own writing. Write again, hey. Yizan shook his head, picked up the pen and wanted to write, but after writing a few words, he found that there was no ink left. Buy me a bottle of ink. It took Yizan 2 days to make these dozen ninjas understand the steps and content on the paper. The ninjas are not stupid. Although they don't understand economics, they have studied for 2 days and know the content on the paper. They can indeed recover the economy of the water country. In Futon wind style mode one night. In order to prevent the country of Shisui from crossing the river and demolishing the bridge, he flew directly to the altitude of 1,000 meters and left the country of water gracefully. On the way out of the water country, Yizan got news from Slug that Sarutobi and Danzo had returned to Konoha with the Legion, mainly because Danzo's quick support helped Sarutobi. Both sides are 2 level, but the quasi-shadow, Konoha has Yuhi, Orochimaru, Uzumaki Mawako who burst 353 tails, and Jiraiya who successfully advanced on the battlefield 3 days ago. Because of Danzo's military support, the gap between Konoha and the land is not big. Although Hanzo of the Salamander is very strong, Sarutobi and Danzo are old comrades in arms for decades, and they cooperate very well. In the end, Onoki chose to retreat. Wait and see, and send a message to the country of thunder, denounce the inaction of the 3 generations of Reikage. So far, Onoki didn't know that the Kumogakure village had undergone dramatic changes. He simply thought that the 3rd generation of Reikage did not want to lose his troops, but he didn't know that the Kumogakure village had been half destroyed by the Ghost Lantern. The character of 3 generations of Reikage, the Kumogakure village suffered such a blow, it would definitely go crazy, and would return with desperate revenge. Yizan could not predict how the battle between the 2 sides would end. At this moment, Yizan had returned to Konoha, and he was jumping around in the Hokage office, scolding Sarutobi so much that he couldn't lift his head. Dead monkey, I placed such high hopes on you, and you actually lost. You idiot, you keep saying that you are strong. You are ninja, I think you are a bear. It's like playing a Onoki. It took a lot of effort, and finally was attacked by Hanzo of the Salamander. Idiot, idiot. Chapter 210 click, click. There are quite a few people in Hokage's office. Sarutobi Danzo and the 2 advisors did not say anything. Jiraiya and Orochimaru were also standing beside him, as well as Uzumaki Ryayama and the sunset of the quasi-shadow power. Seeing Yizan pointing at Sarutobi's nose and cursing, the sunset only felt cold sweat overflowing from his forehead. Due to being promoted to the quasi-shadow powerhouse, Shirayama has a higher level of power. Until now, he feels that this power to participate in high-level discussions is a hot potato. He always feels that if he turns around and goes out, he will be killed by the shameless Sarutobi. Silence. What are you afraid of? You'll get used to it after you come here a few times. Uzumaki Ryushin whispered, from initial shock to habit. I always thought that Shaozan only dared to scold us, but I didn't expect Lord Hokage to dare to scold us. They often do this. Yeah, I think it's amazing too. The 2 chatted quietly. Here, Yizan put his hands on his hips and finally stopped. At this moment, Sarutobi wrinkled his face bitterly, looked at Danzo pitifully, and found that Danzo closed his eyes and did not pay attention. His whole face was completely bitter. Shaoshuan, you can't blame me for defeating the battle. Onoki's strength is good, and their number is twice ours. It's not a bad thing for us Konoha if Onoki wants to fight slowly. Besides, I wanted to delay for a while and let Onoki relax their vigilance and attack their granary transit station, but I didn't expect that the country of rain would join the war before they could attack. Excuse. If you lose, you lose. Dignified Shinobu, don't make excuses tilde. Mingming said I was a bear just now. Sarutobi muttered in a low voice, was stared at by Yizan, and immediately shrank his neck. Realizing that Yizan was about to scold him again, he decisively looked at the 2 advisors, his eyes full of help. Hey! Poor Sarutobi finally aroused the pity in Kaharu Udatene's heart. She came to Yizan's side and patted Yizan's head, attracting Yizan's attention. Shaozan, let's talk about Sarutobi later. Now let's discuss the situation in the ninja world, how about that? The situation in the ninja world. Yizan blinked his eyes. What else is there to discuss? Konoha is weak, the enemy is strong. We can only respond to changes without change. Onoki and Hanzo of the Salamander retreat temporarily. What will they do next? I don't know either. Then wait now. Of course, wait. The biggest reason for Onoki's retreat is because my dad suddenly brought troops to support him. The unknown is the most fearful. He doesn't know what happened to the third-generation Raikage and why he suddenly gave up attacking Konoha. He might speculate that the third-generation Raikage suddenly gave up. It is not impossible for Konoha to turn to attack the land of the earth. Quote. Yizan's analysis was good, and Kaharu Yuditane agreed after thinking about it. I don't care about Onoki for the time being. To be precise, we and Onoki are both waiting for the information of the third generation of Raikage, but what about the Land of Winds? It's not a big problem over the Land of Wind. Who was talking? She flung her tentacles weakly on Yizan's shoulders, and her spirit was a little sluggish. Before Hanzo of the Salamander participated in the battle, when Hokage was defeated, the Sand Ninja's morale soared, and he once knocked the Konoha army out of the Country of Wind. However, when Onoki and Hanzo of the Salamander retreated and the news of Lord Danzo's arrival in the Land of Wind reached the Land of Wind, Sand Ninja's morale plummeted. Kage was injured by Hatake Sakumo, and has now been completely suppressed back. In general, the Konoha army the absolute upper hand. Quote. That's good. That. Slug, what's the matter with you? She's probably craving chips. Yizan pouted, and for some reason, Slugs had a crazy love for French fries, and he panicked without eating them all day. I'll take her to buy French fries, that's all. Keep an eye on the information of the Kingdom of Thunder. There is new information, remember to let me know and leave. Greeting everyone, Yizan left the office slowly, and just after leaving the Hokage building, he found a canteen next to the street. Here's a pack of French fries, it's spicy. Yizan took out a thick stack of money from Kabuto, and took out the smallest denomination one. We have new flavors here, do you want to try it out? Seeing the money in Yizan's hand, the shop owner's eyes lit up, and he immediately moved out a large box of French fries. Children, our new flavors are tomato, barbecue, shallot, eel, mint, and cucumber. Would you like to try it? Yizan blinked when he saw the smell of tomato and barbecue, and a familiar feeling appeared in his mind. You are quite a businessman, come on, come with a pack of each. Clack clack. Click, click, click. In a restaurant in Konoha Commercial Street, Yizan took tomato-flavored fries, ate one by himself, and handed another one to the slug. Well, it's delicious. Xiaoshuan, I don't want spicy flavor anymore, I only eat tomato flavor. Slug happily shook his tentacles, and his originally small eyes were almost invisible. Really only eat tomato flavor? Really, I swear. Seeing the slug swearing, Yizan threw off the empty bag he had eaten up, picked up another package of French fries on the table, and tore the seal with a crashing sound. It's cucumber, try it tilde. Click, click, click. Yeah, it's delicious. I will only eat tomato and cucumber in the future. Didn't you just say to eat only tomato flavor? Yizan gave the slug a funny look, put the cucumber-flavored fries on the table, and tore open a packet of barbecue-flavored ones. Try this tilde. Clack clack. Well, this is not bad, I can change the flavor occasionally tilde. Yizan kept tearing open the packaging, and kept tasting the slugs and himself. It was not until the restaurant owner came over for the 5th time that Yizan impatiently took the menu and flipped over Byakugan in annoyance. What's the hurry? Didn't I tell you to wait for a while? How can you do this kind of business? No wonder you have no one here to eat. You have been gathering together, what are you doing here? Wait until I finish the fries before ordering. Yizan put the menu on the table and didn't order anything. The boss cried and was driven away again by Yizan. Chapter 211-Unending Battle. Hiccup. I am full. I'm full too tilde. At the door of the restaurant, Yizan burped comfortably, and shared with the slug a dozen packs of French fries, making his stomach bloated. Where are you going now? Go to school to find Makoto and Kushina Tilda. After Yizan left, the restaurant owner looked at the table with tears in his eyes. It was full of empty bags of French fries, leftover French fries, and 2 glasses of boiled water that he provided for free. I knew it would be like this, woo woo woo. Yizan is living a small life comfortably in Konoha, but a fierce battle is taking place in Kumogakure village, the land of thunder. Ghost Lantern Moon. Generation Reikage roared with terrifying thunder. From time to time, a child's appearance clone slammed into the 3rd generation Reikage, exploding with terrifying power. Boom boom boom. Crazy, in Kumogakure village, more than 8,000 Kumogakure ninjas are besieging the 5,000 ninjas brought by the ghost lights. 3 generations of Reikage and Ghost Lantern are fighting to the death. So far, Ghost Lantern has used his ultimate ninjutsu, steaming danger and violence. 240. Reikage, do we have to fight to the death? Ghost Lantern Wanyu shouted from behind a rock Jinchuriki column. He used the demonic illusion made by the mirage to hide himself, and the surrounding area was foggy for 1,000 meters. No one dared to enter this venue except the 3 generations of Reikage. Ghost Lantern Moon, get out. Boom. The doppelganger made of oil and water exploded again, blowing the 3rd generation Reikage to its knees, Raiden Thunder-style twinkling, and the earth shattered. Get out. He continued to roar, his eyes were bloodshot, he didn't pay any attention to Gaidong Wanyu's weakness, he had nothing in his mind except killing. Half of the village was destroyed, and there were corpses everywhere. The 3,000 Kumogakure left behind in the village killed more than 2,000 people. If he was delayed, the village would be gone. Reikage, this is a misunderstanding, and I was taken advantage of by Konoha's bastards. We can't kill each other. Get out. Boom. A loud bang, the 3rd generation Reikage actually started to attack wildly. Ghost Lantern Wanyu's pupils shrank sharply and suddenly retreated. The huge rock Jinchuriki column in front of him was smashed by a single blow. So you are here, kill. Huh. Like an electric light, the fist of the 3rd generation Reikage came in an instant. Ghost Lantern Wanyu dodged again, but it was too late, but his left arm was punched. Puff. The water splashes. As a Ghost Lantern family, Ghost Lanterns and Magic Moon will naturally hydrate, but sizzle. The manic thunder was instantly transformed into black thunder. Ghost Lantern Wanyu only felt numb all over, and the hydration technique suddenly failed. Oops. When the crisis of death came, the terrifying fist was about to hit the head, and Ghost Lantern Wanyu desperately burst into chakra all over his body, replacing himself and the child with the child at the moment of 1,000 troops. Boom. The child's clone made of oil and water exploded again. This time it was a super explosion at 0 distance, which directly blasted the 3rd generation Reikage back dozens of steps. He bit Kiba tightly, and the thunder on his body became stronger and stronger. He looked around and found a ghost lamp. The phantom moon disappeared again. Ghost Lantern Moon, a coward who only hides everywhere. 3 generations of Reikage, calm down, if we keep fighting like this, we will only lose both. Kill my subordinates, destroy my village, and now beg me for mercy. Kill. Bang. Was a thunder in the sky, and long after the sun set, dark clouds gradually shrouded the village of Kumogakure. From time to time, lightning flashed in the rolling dark clouds. Under the dark clouds, Kumogakure and Kurigakure had already gone crazy, and people were dying every minute and every second. It's going to rain. Yeah, it's going to rain Tilda. Kushina curled up on the sofa, the open windows swayed from side to side and made a crunching sound. The sky was dark, and the air smelled of mud. Compared with the Kumogakure village, thousands of miles away, the atmosphere in Konoha is very peaceful. After having dinner half an hour ago, Danzo went to the Hokage building alone to discuss things with Sarutobi. My sister Mawako also left home. I heard that she was going to Anbu for training. She just set up the kitchen. After washing his dishes, he slumped on the sofa and read a book. Stinky hooligan, what kind of strength is big sister now? As if remembering something, she gently kicked Yizan with her foot, and put her white foot on Yizan's leg, looking extremely cute. Mawako, Chunan's strength. When Kushina got caught, Yizan suddenly woke up from his deep thoughts. Looking at the little feet on his legs, he subconsciously pinched them. What are you doing? Do nothing. Yizan pinched on Kushina's feet a few times, then put his fingers to the bottom of his little feet and scratched, causing Kushina to scream and retract his legs sharply. Itchy, you're going to die. Kushina glared at Yizan angrily, pulled up a thin quilt to cover his feet, and found that Yizan was in a daze again. What are you thinking about? It's nothing, I just saw that it's going to rain, and I don't know how the battle in Kumogakure village is going. I spent so much effort to deceive Ghost Lantern Moon to destroy Kumogakure village. I hope they can fight, but if the third generation Reikage chooses conserving strength and letting go of the ghost lights and magic moon, all my actions were in vain, and in the end Konoha still had to face the pressure of 3 battlefields. Quote. What then? No way, the final outcome is out of my control. The third generation of Reikage's temper is very short-tempered, and there is only a very small possibility that Ghost Lantern Moon will be spared. If it is really let go, it is God's will, and I can do nothing. Seeing Yizan's sad face, Kushina felt a little distressed. She took the initiative to lean over, cupped Yizan's face with both hands, and pulled it gently to both sides. Okay, stinky rascal, don't frown, come on, have a laugh. Oh, you said that the chances are low, anyway, the final outcome is not under your control. You can be happy, and you can be unhappy. Why not be happy? Heart waiting for news. Kushina blinked playfully, one set after another in a soothing manner. Seeing her so diligently comforting herself, Yizan's sadness gradually disappeared, and a smile flashed across his mouth. Little erotic girl, you're too close to me. You're throwing yourself into the net. Bah, stinky rascal, I have the good intentions to comfort you. If you dare. Before Kushina could finish her words, Yizan hugged him and kissed him forcefully. Chapter 212 The Country of Thunder surrenders. Yizan lived a leisurely life in Konoha. Sarutobi and Danzo did not dare to move around casually, and everyone was waiting for information from the Kingdom of Thunder. Until 3 days later, a shocking news spread throughout the ninja world. What? Ghost Lantern Moon is dead. Nothing was more shocking than the news. Looking at the large volume of information scrolls in his hand, Sarutobi stabilized his mind and continued to read it out in front of everyone. Ghost Lantern Moon died in the hands of the third generation of Reikage, but the third generation of Reikage was also seriously injured. The most important thing is that the Water Country went to attack the 5,000 ninjas of Kumogakure village, and in the end only 2,000 people escaped alive. And the Kumogakure village has also lost a lot of ninjas. It is not clear how much the loss is, and... Seeing Yizan's stunned expressions, Sarutobi could hardly hold back his excitement and stood up abruptly. Boom! With a loud bang, the scroll was smashed on the desk. Sarutobi clenched his fists tightly, and his eyes sparkled with excitement. The Kingdom of Thunder has surrendered. The Kingdom of Thunder has announced its surrender. Fuck. Hearing Sarutobi's news, Yizan was really stunned this time. He didn't expect the third generation of Reikage to be so stubborn and desperate to destroy the ghost lamp and the moon. It was difficult for him to imagine the scene of the war in his mind. How cruel, how crazy, and even so tragic that he was unable to continue the war, and directly announced his surrender. Yizan's performance was not bad. At this moment, Jiraiya and others were already jumping for joy. Facing the pressure for so long, facing this kind of pressure that Konoha will be destroyed all the time, it seems that the spring that is suppressed to the ultimate burst out at once. The Land of Thunder has surrendered. Ha ha ha. Jiraiya and Yuya laughed together, and even Danzo and Orochimaru had expressions of joy on their faces. When the Kingdom of Thunder announced its surrender, the entire alliance would suffer a heavy blow, especially the front of the Kingdom of Wind. Yizan didn't know. When Kazekage heard the news, what would he think? Maybe he would be desperate. Indeed, when this earth-shattering news came to Kage's ears, he was desperate and was beaten all over by Hokage Sakumo. He had been waiting for the victory of the Land of Earth or the Land of Thunder, but now, his dream was shattered. Can't surrender. The land of the country camp. Onoki was furious. Look at the information collected before. Sarutobi's 3 apprentices, Konoha's demonic illusion master Yuhiro, and Danzo's son, can you let it go? Dare to let it go. It fell short, and after 10 or 20 years, Konoha is strong enough to defeat us all. Can't surrender. Call Kage immediately and let him persevere. Onoki quickly wrote a letter, expressing Konoha's future threat in detail. Soon, a communication bird flew up to an altitude of 4,000 meters and flew towards the Land of Wind. Writing the letter, Onoki finally breathed a sigh of relief, but his face darkened again when he turned to look at the other person. Hanzo, do you want to surrender? Onoki, it's already like this now, why insist? Hanzo of the Salamander's tone was a little cold. As the leader of a small country, although he is extremely powerful, the country of rain is very weak, and he doesn't want to consume it like this. The Land of Thunder has surrendered. Wind and Earth will now bear all the power that Konoha has over the Land of Thunder. Let's not talk about Sarutobi and Danzo uniting together, or the few quasi-shadows, but what are you going to do in the Land of Wind? Kage can't stand the pressure of Konoha White Fang. Konoha White Fang is the name that Hokage Sakumo played in this war. His Hokage swordsmanship combined with Raiden Thunder style emits light like a white kiba, biting whoever will die. Over there in the Land of Winds. Hearing Hanzo of the Salamander's analysis, Onoki frowned. He pondered for a long time, and finally raised his head. His eyes became more and more determined. I will let him shrink the line of defense and drag the entire army of Konoha White Fang. During this period, the land lost by the Land of Wind and all the losses caused by the land will be borne by the land of our land. Now Hanzo of the Salamander knew that Onoki was determined to continue fighting. He thought about it carefully. He almost killed Sarutobi by participating in the battle. Konoha would never let the country of rain go. In that case, it is better to continue fighting. Go down. In case Konoha is defeated, the Kingdom of Rain will not be revenged by Konoha. Thinking of this, Hanzo of the Salamander finally nodded, agreeing with Onoki's idea. Listen to you, don't surrender. The country of thunder surrenders, and Konoha can throw all his power on the battlefield of the Land of Earth. Onoki negotiated with Hanzo of the Salamander for a long time, and finally decided to set up the granary transfer station in the Land of Rain, and Onoki would provide all the strategic materials of the Land of Rain. It is inevitable that the new strategic policy will revolve around the Land of Rain. Before the United Kingdom of Rain, the land of the land was attacked through the Land of Taki, but Kikyo Castle and the continuous mountains happened to stand in the middle, making the supply of the land very difficult. It was not until later that he allied with the Land of Rain that Onoki discovered that if the logistics team set out from the Land of Earth, passed through the Land of Rain, and then resupplied to the front line, it would not have to go through the horizontal mountains, and the Land of Rain had complex terrain and was more suitable for defense. Onoki acted very quickly this time. After deciding on a strategy, he gathered 6,000 ninjas from the Land of Soil and 1,000 ninjas from the Land of Rain, advancing towards Konoha with a slow but unstoppable momentum. Onoki made a decision, and Konoha almost made a new strategy. It is better to cut off one finger than to hurt 10 fingers. You have found it. No matter how we fought with the Kingdom of Thunder, our pressure has not changed. It was not until the Kingdom of Thunder surrendered that our pressure weakened a lot. Onoki and Hanzo of the Salamander is very strong together, and it is very difficult to win. I suggest to continue to send elites to the battlefield of the Kingdom of the Wind, cooperate with Hokage Sakumo to defeat the Kingdom of the Wind, and force the Kingdom of the Wind to surrender. Then we can concentrate all our forces on Onoki and Hanzo of the Salamander. Quote. Yizan's suggestion silenced everyone, and in the end, Sarutobi nodded in support. Yes. Support. I support it too. So, who to send? Send me, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, Sunset, plus 500 ninjas. Chapter 213_necklace. Boy, you are laughing at me, la la la. You continue to laugh at me. 500 people were marching in the forest of the Land of Fire. At the front, Jiraiya followed Yi Zan's movements and twisted his butt, constantly provoking Yi Zan. Jiraiya, if I were you, I would have killed a piece of tofu long ago. A man in his 20s is still like a child, and he is not ashamed at all. Look at everyone's eyes, tisk tisk tisk. Yi Zan smacked his mouth in disdain, causing the smile on Jiraiya's face to stop for a moment. He looked back and found that all the ninjas turned their heads, but no matter how much the ninjas covered it up, they couldn't hide the expression of, I was just looking at a fool. Humph. Jiraiya's face became Yuhi, and she fell silent with some embarrassment. At this time, Yi Zan smiled and raised his eyebrows at Jiraiya, looking very proud. Arrogant, you continue to dance, you are a big man in his 20s, and you still learn to twist my ass, stock. Come on, continue to learn tilde. Yi Zan started his trademark, butt twist, so angry that Jiraiya's eyes were burning, he snorted and turned his head, deliberately leaking a trace of chakra. This uncle is already a quasi-cage level expert, I won't compare with you. Oh, there are only 3 of you Sarutobi's apprentices, and you were the last one to advance. You're amazing, I'm so proud. Stinky boy, you. Idiot. The soft voice was low and hoarse, and Orochimaru glanced at Jiraiya with disdain in his eyes. Orochimaru, are you going to help the brat too? Believe it or not, I'll beat you up. Hee, idiot. Seeing that Jiraiya was about to fight with Orochimaru, the Sunset on the side finally couldn't stand it, and he persuaded them like a good gentleman, and finally persuaded the 2 of them. The original serious frontline support action turned into a funny drama. Yi Zan and Jiraiya were fighting each other. Orochimaru interjected from time to time to spray Jiraiya. Jiraiya turned to Orochimaru, and the setting sun tried to persuade them. Until they saw the Konoha army, the 4 talents stop it. Old mother. A familiar voice in the distance made Tsunade's face darken. When the strong wind opened the tent, she immediately raised her fist and slammed it down. Boom. A human-shaped pit appeared in the sand, and Yi Zan lay in it dizzy, unable to stand up after a long time. It wasn't until Tsunade took the initiative to pull him up that he was smart and threw himself into Tsunade's arms. Woo, wife, you hit me. You were the one who hit. You little pervert, I told you to stop calling me my wife. Tsunade glared at Yi Zan viciously, then turned his gaze to Orochimaru and Jiraiya. Yo, you two, finally made the cut. Yes, my uncle has finally made the cut. Jiraiya held his head arrogantly, while Orochimaru nodded lightly, and he didn't feel so proud that he fell so far down Tsunade. The new 500 ninjas were quickly integrated into the large army, especially seeing the 3 quasi-cages and the monster Yi Zan who came to support. Hatake Sakumo finally smiled. With your support, we will defeat the wind. The country is not difficult. Quote. Of course, with me here, it's a matter of minutes to defeat the Kingdom of Wind. Jiraiya put his hands on his hips and held his head arrogantly, with a posture that I was invincible. Sorry, Jiraiya, I'm relieved mainly because Xiaoshuan, Sunset and Orochimaru are here. Minister Sakumo, even you bullied me. Woo woo woo. A blow. Jiraiya finally stopped talking, but even though he didn't talk, he was even more depressed. He pouted very unhappily, glanced at Yi Zan from time to time, whispered in his mouth, and his face was full of resentment. Because at this moment, Yi Zan and Tsunade were crooked together, Yi Zan kept whispering to Tsunade, and from time to time Tsunade's face was full of yuhi, and from time to time there was a burst of laughter. And every laugh interrupted the meeting, leaving everyone, including Hatake Sakumo, speechless. Tsunade, you and Xiaoshuan should go out to chat. There is nothing important to discuss right now. I allow you to go out and chat. Thank you Sakumo. Before Tsunade agreed, Yi Zan jumped up directly, pulled Tsunade and ran outside the tent. Tsunade couldn't resist, nodded apologetically to everyone, and rushed out after Yizan. Due to Hatake Sakumo's strength and the blow of the surrender of the Land of Thunder, Sand Ninja was beaten by Hatake Sakumo and kept retreating. The current camp of the Konoha Legion is built in a small town in the desert of the Land of Wind. The ground of the desert town is naturally fine yellow sand. Holding hands, walking on the soft yellow sand, listening to the rustling sound of the sand, everything seems so comfortable. Little pervert. Huh. Slug complained to me, and she said you're still dating other girls besides Makoto and Kushina, right? Huh. What? Where did I get other girls? Yizan's eyes widened in disbelief, and his expression was very innocent. He didn't even know that he had dated other girls, and he seemed very wronged. Sure enough, the slugs are getting worse and worse, and they lied to me. Seeing Yizan's expression, Tsunade knew that the slug was lying. She clenched her fists fiercely, and felt that it was necessary to teach the slug a good lesson. Humph. It turns out that the little slug spoke ill of me in front of you, so I won't buy her French fries in the future. Fries. Well, I accidentally fed her French fries once, and she fell in love with French fries deeply. If she didn't eat them for a day, she would have no strength. I never thought that she would actually speak ill of me in front of you, Yizan bit Kiba's teeth and decided not to give the slugs fries for a week. Seeing Yizan like this, Tsunade hugged him amusingly and kissed him on the cheek. 4.5 inches. This is a reward for you. Why give me a reward? Well, just treat me as a reward for your contribution to Konoha. Tsunade left Yizan's cheeks with a smile, turned his hands behind his back. A gust of wind blew through, blowing her blonde hair flying, accompanied by the yuhi-colored sunset, showing a very beautiful picture. Hey, Xiaozan. I have something for you. After she finished speaking, she turned to Yizan again. Before Yizan could react, a delicate necklace appeared on her neck. This is the most precious necklace my grandfather left me, for you. Circled.operator_circled.operator. Chapter 214 The Country of Wind surrenders. There is no suspense in defeating the Land of Wind. The next day, the Konoha Corps drove in the direction of Cheyenne Village, and after only half a day, the two corps collided. You must know that Huang, gambling and drugs have been working together for so many years. Although they are all quasi-shadows, the combined strength of the three people can also compete with an ordinary cage-level powerhouse. As a large-scale demonic illusion powerhouse on the battlefield, Sunset also framed the two quasi-shadows of Chiyo and Ebizo, making the opponent fall into demonic illusion and unable to extricate himself. Not to mention Yizan, the psychic came out of the slug body and killed the quartet on the battlefield. Whether it was an ordinary ninja or a puppet master, he basically couldn't stand Yizan's second round and was eliminated by Yizan. Third generation of Kazekage was even worse. He was besieged by Hatake Sakumo and the pornographic gambling drug, which was equivalent to 2 cage-level sieges. One negligent, just 10 minutes into the battle, he was stabbed in the arm by Hatake Sakumo's knife, and half an hour later, he was attacked by Orochimaru with a sneak attack. The belly was pierced by the grass pheasant sword. Retire, retire, retire. 3 generations of Kazekage completely lost their will to fight and lost the defense town again. After only 10 days, the Konoha army will be forced to Cheyenne Village 05. There are still thousands of ninjas living in Cheyenne Village, but Kazekage is completely scared. In order to survive, he doesn't know how many ninjas have been restrained for him in the past 10 days, but they were all killed by Hatake Sakumo, and the most important thing is that he is afraid. We surrender. This is the last word that the 3 generations of Kazekage said standing at the entrance of Cheyenne Village, in front of Shainin, who outnumbered Konoha ninjas. If you still want to attack, we will fight to the death and die together. If you are willing to accept our surrender, I can immediately pass the news to the whole ninja world, and I will never regret it. When a big country fights a war, once it surrenders, it must never fight head-on again. This is a kind of credibility. If even the entire country is shameless and does not keep its promises, then no one is willing to entrust the task to the village, and no businessman is willing to come. This country does business. Armistice for many years, you can tear up the treaty, but after surrendering, you will never go back on it. This is a rule that has been followed since the samurai era. That is to say, once the 3 generations of Hokage surrender and declare the whole ninja world, the country of the wind can no longer attack. Well, it's okay to send some skirmishers, take off the forehead guard and disguise the wandering ninja and make small moves, but it's not allowed to play the frontal battlefield. Hokage Sakumo's assault forced Hokage to surrender in just 10 days, and Konoha White Fang's reputation swept across the ninja world. At this time, Hokage Sakumo did not rest, but led the legion towards the Land of Rain hurriedly. The war between Konoha and the Land of Earth advanced from the junction of rain and fire to the interior of the Land of Rain. Without the help of quasi-shadow powerhouses, Konoha and the Land of Earth fought indistinguishably. To be precise, Konoha had the upper hand. 3 days later, when Hokage Sakumo's legion joined the Konoha battlefield, the Land of Earth front finally collapsed. In order to make Onoki completely lose power, Hokage Sakumo, Sarutobi and Danzo pursued Onoki and Iwagakure ninja with most of their troops, and soon, most of Konoha's ninja crossed the Land of Rain and pursued the territory of the Land. Rain, clattering down. This is a sad country, a country that rains most of the year. Dilapidated houses, burning flames, tens of thousands of ninjas fought frantically in this small country for more than 10 days, destroying the entire country. Walking in the streets of the Land of Rain, more than 100 ninjas followed Yizan. The pouring rain drenched everyone, and everyone was silent. From the shabby houses along the way, weeping and whining could be heard from time to time. We do it, right? The depressing atmosphere was even more depressing because of these words. Yizan glanced at Tsunade and held her hand gently. There is no absolute right or wrong in this world. We have to fight for the sake of Konoha and to protect the millions of people in the Land of Fire. If it is wrong, it is the one who started the war. He comforted him softly. Although Tsunade's mood didn't improve, he squeezed Yizan's hand, saying he didn't need to worry about himself. The place of Yizan's trip was a Megakure village. As an allied country of the Land of Earth, he must force Hanzo of the Salamander to surrender, which is the rule of the ninja world. If the leader doesn't say surrender, it means that he still insists on the war. Konoha ninja encounters ninjas in a Megakure village. In order not to hurt himself, he will still go all out to kill the enemy. A dozen shadows passed by from a distance. Before Yizan had time to speak, 100 Jonin swarmed up behind him, catching up with the shadows in an instant, and after a while, a dozen screams were heard in the distance. Jonin besieged. Hey, let's go quickly, although I'm not a virgin, but this kind of killing really doesn't make any sense. Let's go to a Megakure village and force Hanzo of the Salamander to surrender. After Yizan finished speaking, he accelerated sharply, changed from walking to running, and rushed forward quickly. When he passed a dozen Megakure corpses, he paused slightly, then accelerated again, and the sound entered everyone's ears. Hurry up. Rain Country is a small country. After passing through more than a dozen small towns for 2 hours, Yizan finally stopped in a wilderness. How long? Report Lord Zan. Walk through this wilderness, and then pass through 2 small towns, and you will reach your destination. Well, since that's the case. Yizan could finish his words. Suddenly, a sense of crisis of death came to his mind. His pupils shrank sharply, and without thinking about it, the futon wind style mode suddenly erupted. He pulled up Tsunade and ran away. Jiraiya and Orochimaru, who had the strength of Quenying, also reacted and fled to the distance almost at the same time as Yizan. Secret technique, poisonous mist spray. A figure flashed to the back of Yizan's troops, spit it forward, and the purple aura instantly swept everyone. The more than 100 Jonin didn't even respond, all fell to the ground and lost their lives in an instant. Hanzo of the Salamander. Yizan shouted, and a murderous aura suddenly emerged in his heart. He glared angrily. He didn't expect that Hanzo of the salamander would actually dare to shoot. Hee, sorry, more than 100 Jonin, plus the 4 of you. If you besiege me together, I really won't be able to survive. I don't want to die, and I'm fighting now. I didn't surrender, and a few people died. It's normal. Hanzo of the salamander sneered, and immediately took out a pill from his arms and ate it. The move just now was his strongest poisonous fog attack. With his strength, it would take a full 5 minutes to use it. The poisoner himself will be poisoned. The sky was raining, and the whole world was dark. In this vast wilderness, Hanzo of the salamander finally showed his scythe. Chapter 215 _ The mighty Hanzo of the salamander. The strength of Hanzo of the salamander is beyond doubt. Be precise, he is currently the strongest cage-level master in the ninja world, and even Reikage and Sarutobi are not his opponents. Hanzo of the salamander's abilities are relatively simple. He mainly uses physical techniques, instant body techniques, and poison. His strongest ability is poison, and he even said that most of his strength is based on poison, which is very simple, but because of this, Hanzo of the salamander is particularly terrifying. The art of psychic. The terrifying chakra filled the air, and along with the white fog, a huge sandshowfish appeared beside Danzo. Cage level psychic beasts. Seeing Hanzo of the salamander summon the psychic beast, Jiraiya immediately bit his finger, and just as he was about to summon Toad Wentai, Yizan suddenly pulled him and interrupted his ninjutsu. Boy, what are you doing? Don't summon psychic beasts. Their size is too big. It is difficult to avoid poison gas. Then your Toad Wentai will be poisoned to death. Don't blame me for not reminding you. Yizan's words shocked Jiraiya, and his face suddenly became solemn. If they didn't summon the psychic beasts, they would face 2 cage levels, Sanjiao and Hanzo of the salamander, and Hanzo was the strongest in the cage level. Don't worry, he won't kill us. Onoki is being chased by 3 cage levels of my Konoha, and will announce his surrender soon, if Hanzo of the salamander kills a few of us. Having said this, Yizan paused slightly, and suddenly a trace of unconfidence appeared in his heart. Judging from the original work, Hanzo of the salamander really won't kill Sanin, but the other party's poisonous smog just now is determined to destroy everyone. If they were half a step slower, they would have died in the poisonous fog just now. Thinking of this, Yizan did not continue to speak, but in turn reminded everyone to be careful, and became more vigilant in his heart. Yizan's cautious Hanzo of the salamander saw in his eyes, but kept sneering. He raised the scythe in his hand, as if it disappeared in an instant. Be careful. Clang. A piercing sound wave exploded, and Orochimaru was knocked over a dozen meters away. At the last moment, he blocked Hanzo's attack with a pheasant sword. The sharp and poisonous sickle was so close that it slashed at the back of Jiraiya's head. Jiraiya the big idiot. Yizan immediately burst into the futon wind-style mode, rushed to the front of Hanzo in an instant, smashed it with a punch. The violent wind split several wind blades. Hanzo slightly tilted his head, raised his sickle high, and slashed at Yizan. Boom. There was a muffled sound. The blue hurricane was slightly sunken. Yizan's eyes narrowed, and he was surprised to find that a purple mist merged into the futon wind-style, which was the poison on the sickle. Disperse. Yizan retreated violently and immediately cut off the chakra operation, scattering the poison in futon wind-style into the air. Hanzo of the salamander stopped, and Yizan and the others gathered together again. Everyone's expressions were solemn. This seemed to be a simple confrontation, but it showed the gap between the two sides. Hanzo's teleportation technique is somewhat similar to Hiraishin. The speed is similar, and both are fleeting. Both techniques have their own advantages and disadvantages. In contrast, the teleportation technique can only be used one at a time, while Hiraishin can use countless techniques in an instant. Second, but Hiraishin needs a special kunai mark, but he can do whatever he wants, and he can do whatever he wants. Pay attention to his instant body technique. Remember, you must not be cut by his sickle, and must not be poisoned. Got it. Four of them exchanged glances, suddenly turning into four black shadows and rushing towards Hanzo of the salamander. Seeing the four rushing towards him, Hanzo just sneered and didn't move, as if he didn't care about the four's attack at all. You seem to have forgotten that I still have a psychic beast. What? Puff, puff, puff. With a few soft clicks, a few purple chakra groups flew over from a distance. The attack of the mountain pepperfish was not Yizan and the others, but Hanzo. This is also not expected by everyone. The Sanjiao fish is actually very vicious, covering everyone including Hanzo. Every purple chakra group has the explosive power of cage level. Not only will it suffer violent shocks, but this color obviously contains highly poisonous. Goodbye, a bunch of bastards. Hanzo sneered, and the figure disappeared instantly. Seeing that the purple chakra group covering a range of 100 meters flew over, Yizan's eyes narrowed and he suddenly mobilized all the chakras in his body. Sage mode, on. Raven Thunder style mode, on. At that moment, Yizan's speed soared tenfold. He grabbed Tsunade with his left hand, Orochimaru with his right hand, kicked Jiraiya away with one kick, and pulled the two of them out a few hundred meters away in an instant. Boom boom boom. The terrifying chakra group exploded, and the violent shock wave caused the surrounding earth to vibrate continuously, and endless purple poisonous mist filled the air. Jiraiya lay in the stone Jinchuriki column not far away, bleeding from the corner of his mouth. Stinky brat, why are you kicking me? Idiot. Yizan glanced at Jiraiya disdainfully. Suddenly, his complexion changed greatly, and he shouted at Jiraiya loudly. Jiraiya, watch out for the ground. What ground? Kaden, fire style. Exploding flame formation. As if the volcano was about to erupt, the ground below Jiraiya suddenly brewed the scorching heat of death. Jiraiya's face changed greatly, and without thinking about it, he immediately poured all the chakras of the quasi-cage level into his hair. Ninja, Needle Jizo. Boom. Shattered, sparking fire all over the sky, and Jiraiya's figure was completely covered by the flames. This explosion, even if Jiraiya didn't die, he would still suffer a lot of damage. Yizan frowned and found that Hanzo of the salamander didn't keep his hand every time he attacked. He didn't understand why. Did the other party really want to kill the four of him? But the victory of the Ninja World War Konoha has been decided. Does Hanzo of the salamander really don't want to live and is ready to suffer Konoha's revenge? Yizan wanted to ask, but depending on the attitude of the other party, even if he asked himself, he would not get an answer. Thinking of this, Yizan finally calmed down his impetuous emotions. This is what Danzo has always told him. In the battle of life and death, calmness is more important than anything. The heavy rain fell, shrouding the whole world in the world of water. Yizan slowly raised his hand and made a seal with one hand. Sage art. Great waterfall technique. Boom. In the vast wilderness, a huge torrent of tens of meters high and 200 meters wide appeared out of thin air. The torrent roared and rushed towards Hanzo of the salamander frantically. Chapter 216-Poison. Tips for carving bugs. Seeing the torrent coming, Hanzo sneered and disappeared in an instant. The Sanjiao fish beside him also quickly drilled into the ground, avoiding the attack of the waterfall technique. Call out. A soft sound, the sickle cut through the air and slashed towards Yizan's back. Yizan quickly turned on Futon Wind style to block the blow. With the help of the power of Sage Mode and Futon Wind style, he grabbed the sickle at an extremely fast speed. Knife handle, kick it up. Boom. Feet collided, and Hanzo of the salamander only felt an unstoppable force coming, and if he didn't retreat, he even felt like his legs would be broken. Thinking of this, he resolutely threw the sickle away and stepped back. Even so, he was kicked by Sage Mode's Yizan. At the same time, Tsunade and Orochimaru attacked Hanzo from left to right, and they cooperated perfectly with Yizan. Heavenly Foot of Pain. The Shadow Snake Hand. Seeing that Hanzo was about to be hit, suddenly, the Sanjiao fish, which had been hiding in the ground, popped out of its head, sprayed fiercely, and a group of terrifying purple chakra bombs flew over quickly. Just like before, this attack by Sanjiao still covered everyone. Since Hanzo had implanted the poison sac of the Sanjiao fish in his body since he was a child, he has a strong anti-poison ability. Even if the instant body technique is too late to use, the trick of getting hit with the Sanjiao fish is to exchange the injury for life, no matter what. Damn it! Gang 707 cursed loudly, feeling extremely annoyed in his heart. It's hard to cooperate so well, and it's hard to seize the opportunity to the point where the opponent can't use the instant body technique, but the poison of Sanjiao forced her to be unable to attack. Back! Tsunade shouted, and Orochimaru gave up the attack at the same time, and this gap made Hanzo disappear again using the telekinesis technique. Bang! The huge purple chakra bomb exploded, causing a purple poisonous mushroom cloud. At this moment, Yi Xuanfei came to Jiraiya's side, and quickly channeled a small slug on Jiraiya's shoulder. How do you feel? Not very good, the power of that explosion. Jiraiya smiled miserably, covered in injuries. Don't take part in this battle, pay attention to avoid Hanzo of the Salamander's instant body technique, I can't catch up with him. Yizan finished, glanced at the slug, his face became serious again. If Jiraiya is caught Hanzo of the Salamander is poisoned by sneak attack, you immediately return to the psychic world. Don't follow the poisoning, Jiraiya will die if he dies, you can't have an accident. The stinky boy also touched me a second ago. Jiraiya shouted angrily, but the slug happily turned a circle on Jiraiya's shoulder. She waved her tentacles and nodded, indicating that she would run away immediately in case of danger. Up Jiraiya, Yizan turned his gaze to Hanzo of the Salamander again. He frowned slightly, and another doubt had arisen in his heart from just now. Jiraiya was injured by the blast. If Hanzo didn't fight him just now, but killed Jiraiya with a flash, maybe Jiraiya has only one corpse left, but the other party didn't attack Jiraiya, as if he didn't intend to forget Jiraiya, but Yizan knew it was impossible. Hanzo of the Salamander could not have forgotten something so simple in battle. Yizan couldn't figure out why, but he became more and more vigilant in his heart. He found that Hanzo of the Salamander, who lost his scythe weapon, became more powerful, especially the murderous aura in his eyes. Murderous. Really murderous. Yizan's pupils shrank sharply and suddenly flew to the sky, but in the next second, Hanzo of the Salamander came behind Yizan in an instant, stretched out his hands, and hugged Yizan tightly. The violent futon wind style and the chakra on Hanzo of the Salamander keep colliding, but the chakra on Hanzo of the Salamander is too thick. Even if there is no pattern, just rely on the strong chakra to protect him your own body, free from futon wind style. What are you doing? Yizan was terrified, his brain was cold, and he was about to fight back. The next second, Hanzo of the Salamander suddenly opened his mouth, and a deep purple breath rushed out instantly. Secret technique. Poisonous mist spray. Huh. That moment, Yizan was directly attacked by Hanzo of the Salamander's strongest poison. His body was stiff and paralyzed, and the futon wind style mode and sage mode suddenly disappeared. Shaozan. Tsunade screamed, smashed the ground with both feet, and jumped into the air desperately, her fists wrapped in terrifying chakra, and smashed Hanzo of the Salamander with all her strength. Huh. Hanzo of the Salamander once again used the instant body technique to disappear, and in midair, Tsunade immediately hugged Yizan, his eyes full of worry. The green light of the treatment lit up, trying to dispel the toxins from Yizan's body. Fortunately, Yizan was in sage mode before, so the toxins would not kill him instantly. At this moment, Hanzo of the Salamander landed on the head of Sanjiao. He coughed a few times, and a poisonous gas appeared on his face. It took him 5 minutes to brew the poisonous gas, and he poisoned himself again. He took out the forbearance kit and found that there were no pills in it. Trouble. I only took one out of the house. Since he was implanted with the poison sac of Sanjiao fish since he was a child, this poison still can't kill him, but there is no antidote. His combat power will drop, probably from the strongest in cage level to Danzo's strength, compared to it did drop a lot below. But now it's not the problem of self-toxins. Go back to the village and get some medicinal materials to make an antidote immediately. Now the most important thing is. Hanzo of the salamander looked up not far away. Tsunade was holding Yizan for treatment. Orochimaru was guarding. He sneered a few times. His voice was cold and vicious. Don't save it. It's useless. How can it be so easy to remove the poison that I have to brew for 5 minutes to create? He sneered, his heart filled with joy, and thinking of Onoki's promise made him feel that today was all worth it. Recalling a few days ago, in the frontline camp. Shimura Schwantian is a prodigy. He has such strength at a young age, and his intelligence is even more monstrous. Once he grows up, he will definitely be more terrifying than Senju Hashirama back then. Don't let him grow up. Hanzo, help me kill Shimura-zan. We can discuss what you want. No, kill Shimura-zan. Shimura Danzo will send troops to destroy my country of rain. Humph, Shimura Danzo. Don't forget, Konoha is Sarutobi's world. Shimura Danzo is just a mouse hiding in the dark. As long as Sarutobi's 3 apprentices are kept alive, Sarutobi will never take revenge on you for the sake of the overall situation. Don't worry, we are on the same front as you, and I will unite with the Land of Winds to put pressure on Sarutobi. If Shimura Danzo dares to send troops, it means Konoha will start the war first. Sarutobi will not do this. Quote. Chapter 217 _ The evolution ability of Face Fruit. Heavy rain, crashing down. The dark and gloomy world is getting darker at this moment. In Tsunade's arms, Yizan's breath became weaker and weaker. No matter how she treated, she could only delay the spread of the toxin, but it could only delay it. Xiaozan, hold on. Tsunade hugged Yizan tightly, tears dripping from his eyes. Xiaozan, don't die, woo-woo. The little slug jumped over from Jiraiya and cooperated with Tsunade to treat her with all her strength. Tears dripped from her small eyes from time to time. Unlike the usual fake crying, this time she really crying and looking extremely sad. Jiraiya dragged his wounded body to Yizan's side. He pursed his mouth tightly, looking at the stinky boy who usually bickered with him, but now it has become like this. Orochimaru was also a little sad in his heart. He didn't look back, but stared at Hanzo of the salamander, for fear that the other party would attack again at this time and wipe out himself and others. Yizan only felt that his body became more and more paralyzed. The toxins gradually entered the blood from the skin, and the blood flowed towards the internal organs of the body. Once paralyzed to the heart will stop beating, then it will be too late to say anything. Yizan knew this, and so did Tsunade and Slug, and because of this, Tsunade and Slug cried, because they couldn't stop the terrifying toxin flow at all. Hey, it's a pity, I'm going to die. Yizan was not afraid of death, he smiled, even if he was sad, his face bloomed. Tsunade, don't cry, look, I'm laughing Tilda. Xiaozan. Tsunade kept crying, she pinched Yizan lightly, as if she was joking, but the tears flowed faster and faster. Okay, I'm about to die, my good wife, don't cry, just give me face. I won't give you face. Xiaoshuan, don't die, please don't die, don't you like letting others give you face the most? You let the toxin give you face and let the toxin leave your body, okay? Please. Tsunade was incoherent, his emotions almost collapsed, and seeing her pleading, Yizan smiled reluctantly, and the smile on the corner of his mouth was almost impossible to pull out. Okay, hey. Yizan felt a little tired, he lowered his eyelids slightly, and his voice became increasingly low. Toxin, give me face and leave my body. Yizan finished speaking casually, and at that moment, the screen in the sea of his consciousness burst into a golden light. The illusory golden light poured out from Yizan's mind, and instantly wrapped Yizan. Yizan opened his eyes were full of incredible. As if pulling something, the golden light kept pulling outwards. Yizan felt that his body was starting to recover, but his physical strength was constantly running out. Different from the paralysis of poisoning, it seems that he is going through a great battle, causing his physical strength to continue to flow away. Damn it. What's the situation? The physical strength is running out, but a lot of toxins are forced out. In this case, Sage Mode. Boom. The violent chakra poured out again. A few Yuhi-colored lines appeared on Yizan's face. The Sage Mode was turned on, and his physical strength soared tenfold. Wow. Only Yizan could see the illusory golden light, pulling out a cloud of poisonous mist with a ruthless pull, while in the eyes of others, Yizan suddenly turned on Sage Mode when he was dying. There was a cloud of poisonous mist. Xiaozan. Xiaozan. Tsunade and Slug were startled and dumbfounded by Yizan's sudden situation. Not only them, but also Orochimaru and Jiraiya, including Hanzo of the salamander not far away. Yizan abruptly stood up from Tsunade's arms. He blinked his eyes, and found that, in addition to the loss of physical strength, his body had completely recovered to a perfect level. Shit, shit, shit. When can the face fruit be used for toxins? Shit, could it be that I used 10,000 yuan to upgrade before? This is the new ability of the face fruit. Yizan ignored everyone's surprise. His heart was already filled with an indescribable excitement. As if he understood something, he suddenly looked at the ground at the foot of Hanzo of the salamander, his eyes shining brightly. Land, give me face and get out of here. The illusory golden light appeared again. Under the control of Yizan's consciousness, it enveloped the land at the foot of Hanzo of the salamander, forming a cube 10 meters long, 10 meters wide and 10 meters high. The land under Salamander's feet disappeared in an instant. Poof. The sluggish Hanzo of the salamander fell directly into a 10-meter deep pit without checking. Yizan also understood the function and effect of the new ability. He squeezed his fist excitedly, jumped up and said, "Yes, the victory." And then, boom. With a muffled sound, Yizan screamed and covered his forehead pitifully. "Wife, why are you hitting me? Humph, who told you to make me cry?" Tsunade's eyes were open to Yuhi, but her eyes were full of joy and happiness. Just when Yizan was wronged, she suddenly hugged Yizan and held Yizan in her arms. Xiaozan. Tsunade was so excited that she burst into tears again. Yizan smiled, patted her back gently, and his tone became more gentle. "Hey. It's all right, the cursed necklace you gave me, I have avoided this robbed." Boom. Another muffled sound knocked Yizan's head out of a small Yuhi bag. Tsunade, who was crying, turned into a tigress in an instant. She stared at her and clenched her fists angrily. "Little pervert. Oh, so you've been blaming me. I gave the most precious necklace my grandfather left to me. Hey, what did you just say? Cursed Nirvana necklace. Humph. Oh, wife, don't be angry. I'm joking Tilda. How could it be a cursed necklace? Don't be angry, don't be angry. Look, your little face is crying. Come, let me wipe it for you Tilda." Yizan leaned in front of Tsunade with a smile on his face and wiped away the tears on her cheeks. At this moment, Hanzo of the salamander finally climbed out of the dirt pit. He looked at Yizan silently with a trace of fear in his eyes. "What was that just now? Why did it dispel my poison? Why did it erase the ground under my feet? Just a word from him. Could it be, he is a god?" Chapter 218-Fight Alone. Hanzo of the salamander was poisoned by himself, and without a second antidote, his powers dropped to ordinary cage level. Although Yizan lost some physical strength, his body was intact. The crowd did not ask about Yizan's ability. The important ninjutsu is the life of the ninja. Once it is spread out and cracked by the enemy, the ninja will not be far from death. This is the rule of the ninja world. Even close relatives cannot easily reveal their secret techniques, in case one of them dies and his memory is read by the enemy, so as to crack it. At this moment, Yizan stared at Hanzo of the salamander with a cold face. Although he usually giggled happily, he would never be soft-hearted when he met someone who wanted his own life. "Tsunade, Orochimaru, you go and deal with the Sancho, Hanzo of the salamander." "I'll deal with it." Yizan's tone was strong, with absolutely unquestionable orders. Tsunade wanted to say something, but Orochimaru stopped her and shook his head gently. The two of us are going to contain the pepperfish and give Shimura-san and Hanzo of the Salamander a chance to fight alone. Hanzo of the Salamander's strength dropped after being poisoned. With Shimura-san's strength, even if he can't win, he won't die, and he just now the ability you showed. You really don't necessarily lose. Orochimaru's eyes are a little fanatical. He has an extraordinary fanaticism for all secret techniques and forbidden techniques, especially Yi-san's bizarre performance. He is curious about Yi-san's abilities, and his gaze towards Yi-san also has the color of research. At this moment, Yi-san didn't know that Orochimaru had taken himself as a research object. He was surrounded by violent futon wind-style armor, and his whole body turned into a light, and his speed and momentum were more than doubled compared to before. Between life and death, between anger, Yi-san's chakra has improved in an all-round way, and in terms of quantity, it has reached the level of elite Jonin. Call out. The wind was howling, and seeing Yi-san attacking, Hanzo of the Salamander immediately used the Shunshu technique to evade. Although his strength was reduced due to the poisoning, he still had cage-level strength to deal with the mere elite Jonin. Boom! A loud bang, Hanzo of the Salamander spun into a rock 200 meters away, and he sprang out in a daze, his eyes full of shock. What a fast speed, what a strong futon wind-style mode. Just progressing from Jonin to elite Jonin, the speed is so fast that I dare to use my telekinesis. Even if my strength drops, it won't be like this. Looking at Yi-san in midair, Hanzo of the Salamander's face finally became serious. He pulled open his mask violently, and while breathing, bursts of purple poisonous mist appeared in the air. Secret art. The art of poisoning the body. The purple poisonous mist filled the air, and Hanzo of the Salamander rushed to Yi-san's side in an instant. While attacking, he breathed and breathed, carrying terrifying toxins. Hanzo of the Salamander, do you think I'll be afraid of this? With the blessing of Sage Mode, Yi-san has a very strong physique. He turned around suddenly, and hit the opponent with all his small fists. Boom! A loud bang, a shock wave shook the air. Hanzo of the Salamander took 100 steps back, bleeding from the corners of his mouth, and his internal organs were injured. Poison fog, give me face, don't invade my body. After some physical strength passed, the golden force field formed a rectangle that enveloped Yi-san, and the surrounding poisonous mist overflowed everywhere, and whenever it touched the force field, it would be pushed away by the force field. Yi-san can see the golden force field, but Hanzo of the Salamander can't. In his eyes, when the poisonous mist was about to touch Yi-san, the poisonous gas would automatically move to the side, as if he really understood Yi-san's words, which made Hanzo of the Salamander feel terrified. After several experiments, Yi-san found that the more difficult the face, the more physical strength was consumed. When the strongest toxin was removed at first, all the physical strength of the body was consumed. If the Sage Mode was not turned on at the end, Yi-san's physical strength would not be enough. Consume. The second time to make the land disappear, it consumes the least physical strength. This time, it resists Hanzo's ordinary breathing poisonous mist. Although the physical strength consumed each time is not much, as long as Yi-san's consciousness remains unchanged, this golden light will always be used, for he resisted the poisonous mist, and as the resisting time continued, the physical consumption was also a bit terrifying. So, fruit in the pirate world consumes physical strength. In this world, does fruit also consume physical strength? I am young now, and my physical strength is not as good as that of an adult ninja. Fortunately, Sage Mode supports it. But if it goes on like this, it will not last long. Feeling that his body was starting to get tired, Yi-san knew that the previous detoxification took too much physical strength, and physical strength indirectly affected his spirit. Although he had 4 times the mental strength that surpassed that of ordinary ninjas, he was dragged down by physical exhaustion and could not help but fight. Yawn. And just as Yi-san yawned, Hanzo of the Salamander's eyes froze and suddenly burst out. Great opportunity. Hanzo quickly used the telekinesis technique to come to the sickle in the distance. This was a weapon that he had given up before. Because of the chakra attack of the pepper fish, Yizan didn't have time to take it away after obtaining it, and stayed in this big pit filled with poisonous mist. Inside. Swish. In a flash, the poisonous scythe slashed on Yizan's head, and the futon wind style mode ran rapidly, repairing the deep depression. Boy, it's not over yet. Body art. Chain sickle. Sword art. Flash. PFFT. Sound. The futon wind style armor was like a burst balloon, especially with the last move. Hanzo of the Salamander concentrated all his strength on one point and broke the futon wind style armor in an instant. The sickle cut through Yizan's abdomen, but the toxin was blocked by the fruit's ability. Due to the strong toxin on the sickle, Yizan only felt that his physical strength was declining again, and even Sage mode could no longer be maintained. Yizan frowned, bit Kiba, turned around in pain, and rushed towards Hanzo with all his strength. Futon wind style. Spiral thrust. At this moment, Hanzo was closing in. Seeing Yizan rushing towards him, he sneered disdainfully, and used the instant body technique again to flash into the distance. At that moment, as if he had expected it, the spiral thrust in Yi 5.0 Zan's hand suddenly disappeared and transformed into a tiny Raiden, thunder-style Rasengan shuriken, threw it hard at Hanzo. It's useless. Seeing Rasengan throwing the shuriken, Hanzo of the Salamander disappeared again, suddenly. A violent thunder bloomed from behind him, his pupils shrank sharply, and he subconsciously extracted all the chakra teleportation. Space-time, give me a face. In this area, no space ninjutsu can be used. The illusory golden force field instantly expanded, covering the 50-meter sky and the earth. Hanzo of the Salamander's face changed greatly. When he found out that his telekinesis had failed, his eyes were full of fear. Even time and space can be frozen. Are you a human or a god? I'm your father. Go to hell. It's all in one book. Chapter 219 Hanzo of the Salamander, Die. The heavy rain gradually stopped. The dim sky, a trace of sunlight penetrated the dark clouds and fell on the earth, making those who bathe in the sun extraordinarily sacred. The body of Hanzo of the Salamander lay on the ground, and Sanshoyu was forced to return to the world of psychics because of the failure of the psychic contract after Hanzo's death. Beside Hanzo, Yizan was snoring from time to time, and the final time and space confinement caused him to lose all his physical strength, and his mental strength was also damaged, and he fell into a drowsiness. Xiaozan is really amazing. He actually defeated Hanzo of the Salamander. Holding Yizan, Tsunade's beautiful eyes shone softly. She gently touched Yizan's face, with a smile on the corner of her mouth. Humph. What? It's obviously that Hanzo of the Salamander was poisoned by himself, causing his strength to plummet. And the Sanjiaoyu was dragged by you and Orochimaru. This kid is just fighting Hanzo alone. Besides, his strange ability not being corroded by toxins, half of Hanzo's strength has been abolished. It's just luck. What a hero. Boom. Oops. Tsunade, why are you hitting me? Jiraiya, you idiot, it's useless. O5 is still talking about Xiaoshuan here. Believe it or not, I'll beat you to death. Seeing Tsunade raising his fist with a face full of anger, Jiraiya shrank his neck, pouted and muttered softly. After seeing Tsunade staring again, he immediately closed his mouth, saying that he would never speak again. Hanzo of the Salamander died. Without this strong man, the land of rain would be completely over. Tsunade sighed softly. The war between the great nations may be over, but between the small nations, it's just pity for the commoners in the land of rain. Tsunade's low voice made Jiraiya and Orochimaru quiet. Jiraiya sighed softly. Orochimaru nodded in agreement. He looked up in the four directions. Suddenly, his eyes narrowed, and his face suddenly showed a murderous look. Huh. Don't kill us. The three naive tender voices showed the young age. The grass pheasant sword held high paused slightly, then did not stop, and slashed down. Orochimaru. Clang. The grass pheasant sword shifted and cut a ditch several meters long from the ground next to it. Jiraiya's face was serious and his tone was a little dissatisfied. It's just 3 children, why do you want to attack? I won't do it. After 10 or 20 years, when they grow up, they will also seek revenge on us. Look at their decorations, the people of the Land of Rain. This is the law of survival on the battlefield. No matter who the opponent is, no matter what the reason, as long as it is an enemy country, the enemy must be eliminated for the safety of their own lives. Orochimaru, you are too extreme. No, Jiraiya, you are too kind. As for faith, Jiraiya never backs down. The two go head to head, then look at Tsunade at the same time. Tsunade, who do you support? Tsunade, I follow the rules of survival. Children, they may also be enemies. The words of Orochimaru and Jiraiya made Tsunade's face a little ugly. She glanced at the 3 children hiding behind the rock, hesitated for a long time, and sighed again. Hanzo of the Salamander is all dead, and Onoki's side should surrender soon. Since the Ninja World War is about to end, forget it, it's just 3 children. Tsunade's words made Jiraiya a little happy, but Orochimaru's face darkened, but they were all comrades in arms who had been together for many years. He couldn't turn his face for a few children. He just snorted coldly, put away the pheasant sword, and looked at the 3 children. His eyes became colder. Go away. A terrifying aura erupted, causing the 3 children to tremble constantly, while the orange-haired boy in the middle bit Kiba and squeezed his fist, slowly stabilizing his trembling feet under the pressure of Orochimaru. Actually the 3 of us want to apprentice. Apprenticeship, hee. I'll give you a minute, if you don't leave, you'll die. Orochimaru raised the grass pheasant sword again, and the killing intent in his eyes became stronger and stronger. The commoners in the Land of Rain wanted to find Konoha ninjas to apprentice. Who can guarantee that these people will not retaliate against Konoha when they grow up? Orochimaru's tone was extremely firm this time. Jiraiya and Tsunade knew that if things went on like this, the 3 children would definitely be killed by Orochimaru. Jiraiya, who had always been kind-hearted, left and stepped forward to block Orochimaru. Extremely serious. Apprenticeship, this is absolutely impossible. You go, my companions have a bad temper. If you don't leave, you will really die here. Looking at Jiraiya's serious eyes, the 3 children finally understood the current situation. The orange-haired boy at the head pursed his lips tightly, as if he was still reluctant to leave. Only when the 2 companions beside him pulled back, did he step back and finally turned around. Body, and left without looking back. Is it really going like this? This is our only chance. Leave for the time being. Those ninjas don't seem to be in a good mood, and he hasn't woken up yet, so next time, we must find him to apprentice. Even though he was only a few years older than us, he defeated Hanzo-sama. As long as we can become his apprentices, we will surely be able to save this war-torn world. Yizan had no idea what happened after he fell into a coma. When he woke up again, 3 full days had passed. Wake up 133 tilde. How many days have I slept? It's been 3 days, come and have something to eat. It was a cave with a crackling bonfire. Tsunade came to Yizan with a bowl of gruel. It tastes good. By the way, what about Jiraiya and Orochimaru? Going out to find something to eat. The country of rain is too poor, and there are not many prey in the mountains and forests. These porridges were found in the flat house by Orochimaru. Yizan drank the porridge. Tsunade sighed softly. Seeing Tsunade's frowning expression, Yizan raised his hand to hold her face, pecked her lips, and rubbed her eyebrows gently. What do you think? No, I just want to. Hanzo of the Salamander is dead. What will happen to the country of rain after the big country has finished the war? These small countries just wait for the big country to lose their strength, and then start to fight each other. No strong person is in charge, and the country of rain will become a contested country. Poor commoners. Tsunade's words made Yizan stunned for a moment. He didn't expect her to be so sentimental, but this method is easy to solve. After thinking about it, Yizan suddenly had an idea. Hanzo of the Salamander died in my hands, and I will be the new ruler of the Rain Country. Chapter 220 _ someone. What, you want to run the country of rain? That won't work. The heavy rain continued to fall, and in a small town in the country of rain, thousands of ninja troops gathered. In a certain room in the town, Yi-zan, Danzo, Sarutobi, Hitaki Sakumo, and pornographic gambling and poisoning gathered together. Why not? Dead monkey, believe it or not, I'll beat you. Yi-zan waved his small fist and kept threatening, so scared Sarutobi immediately shut up and turned to look at Danzo. Danzo, your son, take care of yourself. Sarutobi's words made Danzo speechless. He took a step forward, rubbed Yi-zan's hair, and said earnestly, Xiaozan, since you killed Hanzo of the Salamander, as usual, you can rule the country of rain. But you are Konoha's ninja and my son. The 4 major countries and other small countries will never let Konoha master the Rain Kingdom. Even if they surrender, you directly master the Rain Kingdom. I'm afraid it will fight again. Fight, fight, whoever is afraid. Yi-zan shouted like this, knowing in his heart that Konoha couldn't stand the toss. He didn't quite understand the reason before, but when Danzo explained it, he understood that once the strongest Konoha showed signs of expanding outward, not only the 3 major countries, including the water country and all the small countries would unite to prevent the ninja world from being gradually annexed by Konoha. Yi-zan was a little discouraged, but not for other reasons, mainly because he swore in front of Tsunade to take over the country of rain, but now he is slapped in the face, which is unreasonable. Tsunade pitifully, Tsunade didn't blame him, but held his hand gently. Seeing Tsunade so gentle, Yi-zan was excited. He held Tsunade's cheek and kissed it. Boom. Oops. Wife, you hit me again. You're not allowed to kiss me outside, or call my wife. If you do this again, it won't be a punch next time. Tsunade clenched his fists fiercely, causing Yi-zan to keep pouting in fright. He leaned obediently beside Tsunade, pulled Tsunade's slender white hand to his nose and made a sound, but did not continue to speak. The two fell in love with each other for a while, and everyone had blood on their faces. Danzo smiled slightly and took the initiative to stay away from Yi-zan, so that Yi-zan could stick with Tsunade to the fullest. Controlling the country of rain is impossible on the bright side, and it's not impossible in the dark. Danzo said softly, attracting everyone's attention. They looked at Danzo at the same time, waiting for Danzo's next words. The reason is very simple. We can find a trustworthy ninja of the Kingdom of Rain. The more powerful the better. Let him control the Kingdom of Rain openly and be loyal to Konoha in his heart. If there is any trouble in the process of control, the root department can send go and solve it in secret. Good way. Yes. Sarutobi and Yi-zan agree at the same time. Although Sarutobi is a pacifist, he will not be too stupid to give him a country of rain for free. But as if thinking of something, Sarutobi frowned slightly, and his tone was a little hesitant. There is another question, who should we look for? The ninja of the rain country is too weak, and there is no decent powerhouse. In this war, their ninjas are also many have died, and among the remaining ninjas, there is no one who can control the country of rain. This. Sarutobi's words made Danzo and Yi-zan hesitate at the same time, and at this moment, there was a sudden noise from the outside world. What's up with the noise outside? Jiraiya yelled out with a displeased face. Since Yi-zan defeated Hanzo of the Salamander and he himself was useless in that battle, he has been in a bad mood. Crunch. Door was pushed open, and a Jonin walked in respectfully. Sorry for disturbing the meeting, lords. Some people said that they were friends of Lord Zan. They insisted on seeing Lord Zan. Jonin glanced at Yi-zan. He didn't know if it was true, which made him hesitate. How many people? Jonin's words also made Yi-zan a little confused. He didn't know anyone, but Konoha's strongest power was gathered in the room. Thinking of this, Yi-zan nodded generously, and ordered a few people to come in. He was also very curious, who had the guts to lie just to see himself. At this moment, the three children outside the small building were too nervous. They came after traveling through mountains and rivers. Seeing that the Konoha army was assembled to leave the land of rain, they had to make a desperate attempt to see Izan at the risk of death. Yahiko, can we really succeed in doing this? I don't know, but this is our last chance. If the ninjas leave, we can only wander for the rest of our lives. Conan, Nagato, are you willing to continue living like that? The orange-haired boy in the lead bit Kiba tightly, his eyes full of hope. Of course he knew the success rate was low, but he had to try, even at the risk of his life. Recalling the merciless sword of the snake-like man back then, if it wasn't for the other white-haired man blocking it, the three of them would have already died. The three of them were extremely nervous. After a while, Jonan from the small building came out. He silently glanced at the three of them, turned around, and made a, please, gesture with his hands. Go in, Lord Zan let you in. With anxiety, tension, and fear of death, the three walked in carefully. There were no lights in the corridor, and it was dark, like hell, and it looked extremely terrifying. Yahiko, are we going to die? I don't know, we have no turning back. Yahiko, Nagato. Conan swallowed and hid behind the two boys and kept shaking. At this moment, the door was suddenly pulled open and a boy appeared in front of the three of them. Huh. Yizan's eyes widened, and he looked at the three children younger than himself in surprise. He closed the door with a bang, then opened it again and found that the three children were still standing outside the door. I didn't have hallucinations. Yizan rubbed his eyes and said to himself, suddenly raised his hand, grabbed Nagato, and yanked Nagato in. The sudden situation terrified Yahiko and Conan outside, as if Yizan had turned into an evil ghost from hell and swallowed Nagato in one go, but the next second, a voice that surprised them even more came from inside. Find it, just this person, cultivate for a few years, let him become the leader of the Rain Country.